Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Overwatch South American Contenders, the English broadcast brought to you by Broadcast.gg. And we have another 3-for-3 hype matchup with a lot on the line. So this matchup is going to be Caverna Esports with Revoltz Esports as well. So Revoltz, I want to talk about them at first here, X. So I say that this potentially could be the biggest U-turn in esports history because they started Contenders 0-8. They got swept twice, and they got swept hard.
Yeah.
Last place season 1. Last place trials to barely get in.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they added a guy named Edgigus, and things have now changed here.
Yeah, it's interesting too because while he has been, a phenomenal performer, I think it really has rested on TH7. I think for this matchup as well, it's going to be even more resting on TH7. Certainly, we're going to see a little bit more of that kind of enabling of him, I think, throughout this series. But absolutely, I think Edgigus has made an impact here. And in some cases, it's not just him being flashy. It's a lot of times him just helping out the rest of the team and allowing the rest of them to really kind of perform together.
Yeah, what we talked about last week, Cam, was it's like the rest of the team knows that they can perform like this, that they can win, and that extra hope can push them to those victories.
Yeah, 100%. We actually, the last series we were casting, it often comes down to those small nuanced bits. And for Revoltz, it just seemed like it was that light switch of, hey, we're good.
Yeah,
right? It was the mental game because the mechanics, nothing's really going to change, week to week over the course of just a couple weeks, right? But it was that you all dive into the rough, man. You always had it in you. You just needed that extra little bit of Edgigus is almost serving as that slip and slide, like all the rest of the team is like across the lawn because they know they can rely on this really great DPS player.
Something that I like to say is leap and the net will appear, right? And
Yes.
I think Edgigus is allowing the rest of Revoltz to leap here, X.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't think of any way better to say it. And honestly, going back to what I was saying before and building upon what you were just talking about, it's been exactly that, especially for TH7 to have someone to rely on in that duo. That's been huge for this team because TH7 we know is a very solid. He's very proficient, particularly at things like McCree, which isn't played very often in South America.
Yeah.
So to have someone to kind of back him up now, that's been a huge boon to this team.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about Caverna, who doesn't quite have the happy ending that we would have hoped for them, but they are 0-4 coming into this game, and they're going to try to end this winless. They're going to try not to end this winless. And so moving forward into trials, they already know they're there. They've been relegated. All of the playoff things for Group A have been decided, minus some seeding. But Pam, Caverna, this is about pride.
Yeah, 100% pride. You never want to go down with a goose egg. Somebody once told me, except it's a 0. And unfortunately, Caverna, they haven't really found that little bit of magical juice. We knew that this team coming in from the previous season, middle of the pack, but, that was the vast majority of Group B. These were all, fairly middling teams who have had, some success in the past, and that Isurus on the very top, of course. So it was really anybody's game. I think one of the weaknesses that Caverna should hopefully be, we're in trials. We're going to fight it out in trials, but we can still practice against, a strong team like Revoltz. In particular, I would really like to see Lucas and Simba be a little bit more alive, I guess. That was one of the biggest weaknesses that we've noticed series to series with this team is kind of their poor positioning, which ends up resulting in their supports deaths very early on in those fights. And, we all know we play and, there's no way you can win out that brawl without healing coming through.
And so here, X, I'm going to give you 2 seconds. Name the player that's going to give Caverna the victory.
Caverna, you've got to be able to have Slay beat out TH7. It's got to be Slay.
I 100% agree. And something else I think we can all agree on is that our favorite Canuck casting pair is about to pop on for this cast. So Lemon and LaFon, how about you take this cast away and show us the beauty of your Canadian voices?
Well, you missed the chance. You missed the chance to say a boot, but we'll give you that joke.
Went for it, but I didn't know if that was acceptable, right?
And for South American viewers who don't know what a Canuck is, it's 2 Canadians. We have a weird yeehaw term for it. But let's just get into this match. Revoltz versus Caverna, or should I say Revoltz 2.0. Since the addition of Edgigus, that I'm going to butcher his pronunciation. They've been 2-0 since the addition of this player, 7-1 in map count. Like I said, Revoltz 2.0.
I mean, it works out. It's a perfect nickname, but I think after today, it's going to be a bit of a 3-0, I think, coming into this one. Revolt's definitely the advantage coming up. Caverna, ooh, it's been a rough season for them so far. They're playing for pride, and as Ham mentioned, you don't want to end the season with a situation with a 0 on the board. You want that 1 at the very least. Take the advantage, take the momentum going back into trials, come back next season, and win it all. Because, like, here's the thing. Caverna, yeah, they haven't looked great, but they've had shining moments. They've had moments where they've got certain players who've popped off. Maka, Slay, so on and so forth. I think there's a case where you have players who are definitely talented. They have the ability. Now, can they put it together? Will they put it together now, or will they put it together later? And I think for them, for their benefit, they want to start putting it together right now.
And it's what type of Caverna are you going to get today? Or is it the one, well, it doesn't matter what happens in this match, let's play for fun? Or is it, well, we want to win on the board? And today, there are some bright spots. Caverna did take a control map versus looking for Org. They also took a game, or went to a game 5 versus looking for tanks in week 1. There are some bright spots of Caverna. Let's see if we're going to see it today.
Over the top, TH7 right away here, and so it's going to be Revoltz taking the first look. Lucas is trying to get spammed out here, Lemon. This fight ongoing. Henry starts to put the bubble down so they can get a little bit of space to move in.
Widowmakers, versus Farah. TH7 has a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Hamura's not having too much fun. Maka is hitting shots. That's a 3K for him. Caverna, I can't believe I'm saying this, get the first cap.
And if you know what, you watched our little feature at the beginning with Tonello in terms of what they thought of teams. Caverna, Maka is back. That's what Tonello said, and that's kind of what happened that last fight there. The Widowmaker popping off a great double headshot kill, close range on the Tracer, and then finds the Pharah in the air as well. So a great play there, and Caverna set themselves up, and they're trying to get this next fight going. Revolt's already walking in to a disadvantage.
And Revoltz just want to focus on that point pressure, get Edgas away from these Pharah players. But it's while the battle of the Pharaohs going on, Maka's picking off shots, gets at least the D-Mech. Tanks are out for Revoltz. Caverna in a winning situation. You've got Lucas on this Zenyatta. Ham wanted to see some better supportal combat from Caverna, and she's getting it. Maka is channeling his inner Lubak, I guess we could say.
TH7 thinking about changing, and you know what? Yes, do it. Caverna Henry does go down as Edgegas comes back in, so it's a case, an opening entry, and Maka's gonna have some heroics right away. But this Lemon goes on, Lemon, as this fight goes on, Transcendence is gonna be committed here from Caverna.
And they don't go for the Resurrect on the Henry. That's one main tank gone, and now they're missing Slay. Revolt's in a big spot, or at a big opportunity to go for the recap here. Maka, though, just playing so aggressive, chasing a Tracer. That's the last person you want in your face as a Widowmaker. Can he finish this one off? Thanks to the mine, he wins that one out. Meanwhile, TH7 had launched a barrage onto the point that picks up 2. Revolt still in the money spot, but Caverna have stalled this one out to almost 80%.
They're going to stall it out to 80 when all is said and done. As Maka does go down, they finally take the pick over. But Tiago, with the final blow, it is going to be flipped around, and that was a really slow fight that kind of just tilted in a team's favor after Edgegas comes right back and picks up 2. They take a long time to bring it back, though, and it's going to be now Revolt's trying to retake, or hold in as Caverna tries to retake.
You see Trix is looking at that Pharah player. Man, I want to hit you with a bomb. Waiting for you to use your cooldown. Sends it right up into the air. Does it catch it? No, they're able to get around the roof just in time. Revolt's now in control of the point. AGM sends his own bomb, and it finds the entire backline of Caverna. So Revolt's might just be able to make this one close.
And it's going to be a reset now as Revolt's just spams them out. AGM able to get a little bit of a couple of kills. The self-destruct a lot more effective than Trix's. And it's going to be Maka with that Infrasight yet again. Finds some value, doesn't see anything over the top yet. Revolt's just holding on. They do have ultimates now, the Transcendence as well as the Pulse Bomb. TH7 nearly with that barrage. So Caverna not really working with a whole lot as Maka switches off the Widowmaker to the Tracer. This engagement coming in now from Caverna as they look for their entry.
Maka's been looking really good, but now when you're in an attacking spot, better to have a Tracer for that point pressure. Barrage coming in from TH7, finds 2, make it 3! Taking out the supports of Caverna. Revoltz, though, still need the retake. 85% and growing for Caverna. Trix just there to stall this one out a little bit. But man, if Caverna have made this a better game than we thought.
I mean, Caverna still has the point, and they're actually stalling it out. 95% Tricks, though, does get DMEC. They bring it back in for the 99 fight. It doesn't matter. They have the overtime play. They're going to lose this fight out most likely, but it took them. They took the point without any sort of contest. As the Transcendence goes, they want to commit to this fight right here.
Oh man, this is so big for Caverna. A winning fight will send Revoltz into a second map in a losing spot as well. Maka hits the pulse bomb, going after the Pharah, trying to get the D-Max. Maka is on fire on whatever hero he is playing. Tornillo was right. This is the backpack Caverna need. Finishing off everyone who's touching the point. Revoltz are on fire, but losing sustain here. They're missing their DPS. Toxin is out. Finally, Maka drops to Edicus on the opposite role, and Revoltz finally stabilize and retake the point.
And they're gonna take that point back to 70%, but they did get that 99-90, so it's gonna be a 99-99 fight here. And Caverna, that backpack that they were looking for, Maka taking that 1v1, taking the 1v2 oftentimes, has been the opportunity they need, but Lucas going down early. This could be disastrous here for Caverna as we are in last fight situation.
Oh, big bomb coming over top. Doesn't find the farmers. He love to use those though. Barrage onto the point, taking out so many people here. That's a DMEC, that's DPS gone. So Caverna in a huge number advantage. You called it 98 to 98. I'll give you a little bit there, but overtime dwindling away. Revoltz dropped the first map here on Control to Caverna.
Hi, yes. Everyone who has their prediction as Caverna taking the first point, hands up, please. Please put them back down. That was a complete and utter fake out. Maka coming back in with the carry. And you know what? I think, Revoltz, you have to rethink your strategy. Like, if Maka is going to be this much of a Fleta, you really got to come back and figure out how to shut him down. Because, frankly, the rest of Caverna has not looked too shiny so far. Revoltz, they have an opportunity here to really shut down a single player and win themselves a fight, and they just don't do it.
Revoltz had actually won the early fight at the last point, but Caverna are very good at the later parts in the sustain and keeping their supports alive. As we go into now Night Market, Caverna, they're the ones that took this control map, or at least Oasis, off of looking for Org, the second seed. Can they do this against Revoltz and keep this going in the series? Pharah versus Pharah, TH7 versus Slay, but it's a difference in the snipers. Maka versus Edgigus. Slay already finding two pigs. This guy's disgusting. He wants to be on top. TH7, though, gets on top of him, and he's going to finish that one off. Still, Caverna in the number advantage. They've solidified themselves onto the point. Maybe one last stall from Revoltz, but they've officially lost it. So now free percentage here for Caverna.
Caverna has now done a great job. And remember what I said about Maka being the carry? Slay's like, yeah, please sit down. Just take that opinion back. Hold it where it goes. Lucas and Slay team up for a team wipe essentially on point, and they take the control of the map. This is now Revoltz. They're not playing in a smart positioning around the players who are doing really, really well. And Maka has been an absolute fire. They take that first entry pick, though.
Oh, can they get that Resurrect, though? Revoltz want to engage off of this right away, and the Resurrect does go through. And meanwhile, AGM drops the mech. Revoltz in a bit of a bad situation. It's picks going back and forth, mainly a Transcendence. Double support ultimates used here for Caverna. And you got the Infrasight, and you got a Self-Destruct. There's a ton that was being just used for Caverna, as TH7 thinks he's going to get behind the team of Caverna and make this big. The Barrage at least gets the DMEC. This opens up an opportunity for Revoltz to respond. TH7 ain't no one to mess with, and turns this fight here for Revoltz.
Revoltz, I think one of the things I would say is this match has been scarily slow, in that the point ticks back and forth, but it doesn't really seem like much is happening. I wonder, it's a really strange setup here from both Caverna and Revoltz, but again, that said, Revoltz does turn it in their favor. They do have ult economy here. Slay with the Barrage and Primal Rage coming online. Not really a whole lot to work with, but again, just a slow entryway and both teams kind of falling down as Toxin picks up Maka, shutting down that Widowmaker now.
Oh, and you got Henry, I think he's using a Primal Rage into the back. He's already handled one tank. And you got Edgigus, who's just used a Dragon Strike. Meanwhile, TH7 trying to get a second direct rocket. The Concuss barely saves his opposing Pharah, as the kills have all gone through for Revoltz, although Caverna, again, had the early advantage.
Revoltz picks up 3 kills, I believe, with their ultimates. They use the Primal Rage, they use the Valkyrie, and then they switch to the Dragon Strike as well. So Edgegas switches over, or trying to build up to that next Dragon Strike rather, as Henry did use the Primal Rage. Not much value gained, and now Maka needs to get off the Widowmaker, does so, switches to the Tracer. So entryway now, trying to go in. Transcendence is committed here, Lemon, and Slay trying to just escape with his life.
Yeah, Maka's getting pressured too much as that Widowmaker and gonna have a lot more mobility and point pressure with this one. TH7 finishes off the main healer here for Caverna, but the point here still in favor of Revoltz. As Caverna now decide to invest some ultimates, they need this retake. Transcendence here for Lucas keeps them topped up. Where is the barrage here from Slay? At any moment it could drop down. AGM zones out the supports, finishing off Lucas here as they move on to finish the remaining members of Caverna. It's 89% and growing. Caverna cannot afford to drop this fight.
A strange barrage used there by Slade. Kind of works as TH7 turns one right back in his favor. As TH7 trying to keep everyone up. He's what? So very weak. Overtime contest. Henry gets back just in the nick of time as Lucas back off the Zen onto the Soldier. They retake the point, and a bit of a mess, but it works, and Caverna back in control of the point. Listen.
I don't think they knew that was coming. Lucas going to the Soldier just to get back to the point quicker, but now they only have a solo healer. So is Lucas gonna switch back? I guess he's just gonna help focusing off TH7, who's now not on the fair anymore, goes to the McCree.
Yeah, I mean, hit scan. We've got something happening here. It's gonna be a situation now. They want to play aggressively. Again, Valkyrie gonna be committed. They have to take this fight with
Dragon Strike.
Absolutely, the Dragon Strike coming in, Lemon, and they're trying to zone them out.
And it does work. It takes out Maka. Henry is down. Caverna in a losing fight. And the retake actually comes in for Revoltz. Meanwhile, they were focusing on their position onto the point as it's overtime situation. Caverna don't have anyone to touch, although there is a Diva player there that is Tricks. A Primal Rage could come from Henry just to make this a little closer. But everybody is alive and well here for Revoltz. Unless he can knock 6 people off the map, Henry is waiting for the inevitable.
Maka picks up 1, Edgegas goes down, but Maka as well, TH7 with the well-timed headshot, and then the dead eye right after that. Objective 2 goes to Revoltz. It is now 1-1 here on Lijiang Tower as we head to our third point, our third stage. It's going to be Control Center. Man, this has been a lot closer than I think perhaps anyone expected. Caverna, really, for a team that has struggled so far this season, for a team that has had issues, that has had basically not the best run of things, they are showing that they are still talented players and that they have a spot here in Contenders South America. Revoltz, on the other hand, they come back in, they try and, again, they have to play for better seeding. It's a choice between Isurus and I believe Black Dragons on the playoff side, and we all know which team they'd rather go up against. So for them, they have to win, they want to win here, put themselves in a good position. It's Control Center now, starts off. Lemon, it's going to be a really interesting look here for Caverna, running that McCree some more, as Revolt's running the Farah Hanzo.
Expecting TH7 to have that fair again. He's been running it almost every single time. So now Maka is going to be pressuring him off. Expect TH7 to match that McCree later on, but TH7 is so high up that they actually can't even reach him or get a nice angle on him. He takes out the opposing DPS player. He zones out Lucas. Only the Resurrect can bring back Slay, as it's his 3rd kill in a row. TH7, who needs a hit scan? You just need to be an amazing fair like TH7.
I am the Rocket Queen, he says proudly, and it's going to actually be the case at 3K. Edgegas comes in with the cleanup, but it does not matter. The point has already been captured, as it's going to be now Revolt starting to build their percentage. A little bit of switches perhaps coming out. It's going to be Tricks onto the Zarya, and Slay switching off the Junkrat onto the Farah. A little bit more aerial contest here. So they get set now to recontest this fight. Lemon, this fight ongoing. TH7 with the barrage.
And Revoltz have a stronger combination using the Hanzo with the Graviton, but the TH7 proves me wrong. Double barrage. He's been using these angles as a fair so effectively, staying very high up, out of sight, and now a shatter will make this things even more painful for Caverna.
Caverna, they see the opportunity. They see the opportunity to take the fight. They want it so badly, and instead they walk into an Earth Shatter, well timed by Toxin. It's going to be now a reset up to 50%. Revolt's putting themselves firmly in the driver's seat here on Control Center. I guess the operations seat? It is a command center after all.
It's Operation Take Back the Point. Don't get shut out 100-0, but now 60% and growing. Revoltz will get will use the Dragon Strike. Graviton a little late here from Trix. What do they use it with, though? Looks like just pure damage, but they lost Henry here, so it's not going to have a ton of value. Revoltz have zoned them off yet again.
Yeah, and here's how, remember how we said someone has to deal with Maka? How do you prevent a hit scan from dealing damage? Just don't let him get lines of sight. And TH7 doing a great job of spamming out. The tank's doing a great job of providing that pressure in the choke area. It's not really a whole lot that can be done. Caverna needs to get that entry point, and Maka off the hit scan, now playing that Diva.
Needs to help his front line soak up some of this damage, but gets D-Mex so much high charge from EGM, using the Graviton, using the Barrage. I've talked about TH7. How is he going to do against these hit scans? He's proving to me that he's just an incredible Pharah.
That is one of the more anticlimactic control centers you will ever see. Overtime will tick away, the emotes come out, the map will end, and though Maka does get that Matrix up, Revoltz will be more than content to trade it for the victory. 1-0 Revoltz here as we enter, well, we just finished that first map. TH7 coming in and providing some much needed relief in the play of the game.
I think Caverna had a good idea of starting off with hit scan, knowing TH7 was going to be on the Pharah, but due to their front line always getting pressure from all angles, Mako really couldn't find an opportunity as the McCree to get some shots, and really, I don't even think TH7 died, and it was a good idea to use the Diva, but with a high charge Zarya on the other side, he was getting melted, like direct counter to Diva. So I had a lot of faith in Caverna for control maps, but Revoltz are also on a how do I say it? They have a lot of momentum. They won their last two matches, 2-1 versus Breakdown, 3-1 versus Looking for Tanks. Revoltz are looking so good ever since they added Edgigus.
I mean, again, one of the things, the reason that Maka picked Diva there is because they didn't have Transcendence. They knew the Graviton was coming online, so your last-ditch effort. We saw, who was it? Oh, gosh. Week 3, I believe, there was a Genji that was picked. It was Breakdown. Breakdown picks up Genji trying to reflect the Graviton Surge. It doesn't work. Here, Maka trying to pick the Diva, eat the Graviton Surge perhaps, also doesn't work. It's a last-ditch effort, not really a whole lot you can do, and it's going to be, a reset coming in. So, unfortunate for Breakdown, for Caverna, but they're unable to really capture that third point and really just end up losing that last fight.
At least they looked good on Gardens. I mean, yes, it was 100-98, but it feels like in the longer battles, Caverna, maybe their supports were at least very good at that map to stay alive and keep the sustain going. We'll head into map 2, where I don't know where Caverna will go from here. I think their best win percentage was on control, especially taking teams like Looking for Org on control maps, as I've already mentioned. And Revoltz, I mean, I had a big question mark on them because originally they had Edgigus play with Leon, and now Edgigus is playing with TH7. They did that their last match, and it's working very well. So it looks like the real duo here is TH7 and Edgigus.
I mean, we already expected TH7 to be so good. First game they played, I think it was versus BGH that we kind of casted. We saw TH7 coming online, doing a lot of work with that McCree, just being pocketed, making sure alongside his Zenyatta, there was a lot of damage coming through there. They made it look a little bit competitive, and then you add Edgigus in and you have a secondary DPS who can actually really hold their own, and suddenly you have a DPS duo that is so very, very strong. So it's going to be King's Row as our next map, and this is a case where, Widowmaker, not nearly as strong. I mean, you can still run Widowmaker, but there's a lot more avenues where you can shut her down. She has to play a little bit more passively. She has to flank a lot more. There's a little bit more situations where she's not that great, in fact. And I think Revoltz here has an opportunity to shut out Caverna and take a 2-0 lead in the series, putting themselves in a much better position for playoff.
It's tough to say where this King's Row map is going to go. It's map number 2, and Caverna are 0-4 and only have won 3 maps in the entire season, but at least against some pretty decent teams. So I wonder when they're going to come alive in this series. I don't expect them to take the series, but I want them to make this difficult for Revoltz.
Yeah, when we cast Overwatch, when we watch Overwatch, when we enjoy Overwatch, one of the things that we really genuinely want as fans, honestly, is to have good competitive games. And I think here we're really rooting for Caverna to just make a comeback, a turnaround, and make this a competitive series. Revoltz, though, they're looking for just like easy 4-0. They want to get back into that third seed, give themselves a better look into playoffs. Absolutely. You want that better seed in playoffs all the time.
Yeah, it'll put you against a better team going into the quarterfinals. I think we had said that was going to be Black Dragons, but Black Dragons or Isurus. It's pick your poison. They're very similar as skilled teams. But King's Row's coming up, and do you think Caverna maybe has a chance to hold maybe a solid defense or make this difficult?
I mean, their opportunities will come in their offensive look. I think defensively, they have to stop the bleeding. It's a case where, yeah, can your tanks create enough space for your DPS to do damage? And I think here, Caverna really needs their tank line to step up and just create that space. So Slay, so Maka, of course, can come in and do what we've seen them do, especially on round 1 there of Lijiang Tower, where the Widowmaker is just so powerful, comes in 2 headshots and easy kill, and they need their tanks here to step up. Though Caverna will be starting off on the defense here on King's Row. Revoltz looking to attack.
And Edgigus, he's such a funny player because he has that pocket Doomfist pick. So he's hovering over it now, but I assume he's going to be switching off of it. Hanzo's a lot more of a safer pick because of how effective that ultimate is, especially paired with a Graviton. But let's take a look at the defense. You got the 3-2-1 solo heal Simba. I'm a little bit worried about this.
Yeah, we're seeing less GOATS compositions as of late. We're seeing more modified places where they're running the snipers instead. No break, so it's gonna be double sniper with the tank lineup. We're gonna taking that high ground, and a pretty adventurous diva there on top of the statue.
Yeah, I mean, the shield is meant to protect you if you're not gonna be behind it, but their Revoltz have taken the hotel route, staying out of line of sight from the snipers from Maka and Slay, but double sniper versus double sniper. It's up to TH7. See if he can open things up, but now he's getting pressured here from the off tanks from the other side, running all the way back to the health pack. As the pick already going through for Edgigus, it does get resurrected. Slay with the double kill, taking out the main healer of Revoltz. This might stifle this push.
And so when we see teams, we usually expect players to specialize in one role, either hit scan or projectile, and Caverna and South America in general has disagreed with that logic. They're like, yeah, we'll have our Hanzo play Widowmaker, we'll have our Widowmaker play Hanzo. Sure, that's all good. And here we see Caverna Slay playing that Widowmaker, Maka on the Hanzo, and already, though a tick was given up, and a very adventuresome flank going on by Lucas on that off-tank roll off of Sven. They managed to make it work, and they hold out for the moment.
And Revoltz have a big advantage in sustain. Their spawn is closer, they have more healers, more resources. Caverna have to win this one decisively early in this fight. Slay almost getting that pick, and now that Infrasight is available, he knows exactly where everybody is, but he's not managing to hit any of these shots and get the picks that he could get. And actually TH7 almost finishes him off. A mine could actually get that kill, but now that Revoltz started pressuring the point, they've almost gotten 2 ticks, 66%, a whole hub from Lucas, and a Valkyrie from Simba is going to keep everybody from Caverna topped up for now.
They do get the kill. Maka coming in, nullifies the res with a straight up kill. Earthshatter going to be committed. TH7 looking for that flank, but Slay on point. And Maka walks in with the clean up flank and the spray on the ground. You got to do that. You got the advantage. You got the opportunity. You got to take those moments when they're given. And Maka absolutely on the ball, does so. Clean hold. They give up about another third of a tick or so, but Caverna slowly eking time off the point.
Edgigus now onto the Brigida. They want to win the ground war as soon as they drop down. Maybe opens up an opportunity for TH7 in a crossfire, but this will assist Toxin a lot, but he doesn't have a shatter, so it's more to pressure the tanks of Caverna, especially prevent these hooks from Lucas going in. Self-destruct right over the top from Trix. What does it find? Still finds Homura. Couldn't get behind the shield of Toxin. We're almost at 2 ticks, but LaFine, minute and 20 left.
Minute 20 left, and TH7 was 1 HP for the longest time, finally taken out. Lucas going down yet again. Seems to be a little bit uncomfortable on that Roadhog roll as Maka trying to find some value. Graviton Surge going to be committed, as is the Dragon Strike with the Supercharger. They want to win it back right here, do Caverna. Although Edgigas come in with that. Oh, with that Brigitte, it's going to be a cleanup now, and they will take this point. So Revoltz, as time drops below the 1 minute mark, will take that point 8 and start their way down Streets phase, delivering that EMP pulse all the way to Omnic Doom. Revoltz set themselves up, and Caverna switching over. A couple of heroes here.
And Revoltz, I mean, they brought it, it took them up until 1 minute remaining to get the points, so we've talked about Caverna making this hard. They're making this quite difficult. Lucas off the Roadhog, back to the Zenyatta. They're going to their normal 2-2-2. This time, Slay onto the Pharah.
Slay onto the fire. You don't have a hit scan on the opposite side. Realistically speaking, it is sort of a modified GOATS composition, so you want a little bit more aerial damage. So far, trying to slowly take that first push. Lucas being a little bit damaged, trying to build that Transcendence up. It's TH7 on the flank.
Well, looking for the stun to open up that shatter from Toxin. Don't even need it. Gets 3 down. Valkyrie, though. Or it looked like a Valkyrie. The Mercy's trying to heal everybody up. AGM high charge, cleaning everybody up from Caverna as Revoltz will move very close to point B.
And an Earth Shatter into the backline captures 3, and AGM will fully take that. And they will clean up that play. It's going to be now Caverna Esports setting up on the defensive look. They will likely not be able to contest second at all, but set up for third instead. So it's going to be Caverna walking slowly.
Well, Henry, I mean, I wasn't happy with that one, but they still got the pick on Eddigus being a little too forward, but that's 2 picks, making a triple post spawn from TH7. Emotes, yeah, that's right, that's me. TH7 is styling on everybody.
I mean, if Maka sprays the ground and TH7, as we get a quick replay of this Graviton Surge, comes through, I think you're allowed to spin in a little bit of celebration there. The emote coming in. Caverna Esports now, they don't have a lot to work with, just the barrage. They have to get set for the defense. Both support ultimates online, and Maka taken down yet again.
TH7 off the Tracer after he styled on them and back onto the Widowmaker double sniper versus now a Ferris Slay has survived apparently long enough to get at least 1 kill, but is it enough? Caverna are all dead. They have to hold this defense here, but a Graviton only temporarily stops Revoltz. I've never seen a stalled Graviton before. Maybe could have needed it for one last hurrah at the end of King's Row. Revoltz at 2 minutes and 30 remaining. Decent time bank, but Revoltz, it's not over yet. Slay has brought out the Sombra. Trix has brought out the emergency Doomfist. Caverna are here to play.
It is last now final fight. We are setting up for that third and final point, and Henry gets taken off the map, likely with that boop, and TH7 pulled off the headshot. So heroics are not done here. The Transcendence is committed as Caverna trying to stop it out, but Edgigas says no. It's a headshot there, trying to find the kill on Slay. The last one left alive is Transcendence to keep the remainder of Revoltz alive. Slay taken out finally, and with that, Henry, unable to even get to the point, will finally die. Contest continues. Simba XP will go down, and that will be round 1. Caverna unable to eke out a full hold as Revoltz will finish round 1 with all 3 points.
I mean, Edgigus is making in King's Row sound like Christmas with all these dings, dings, dings that I'm hearing all the time. Solo takes out the supports, and Revoltz look really good. They're not the best time bank that they would have liked. I mean, it took them so long to get the point. So besides getting the point, it's been decently clean so far.
It has been pretty clean for them. I think the first point was the messiest one, and that's because Caverna was able to rotate their snipers into place and set up Slay and Maka for success. And unfortunately, when Lucas started roaming a little bit, they were able to really pull in and just separate the tank lineup, take the point. They swapped in, walked in with the Lucio, with the tank lineup, and just took advantage. It doesn't matter if their snipers are getting kills if your tanks aren't there to contest. In Caverna, their tanks just aren't there in the moments when they need them. Revolt's able to roll through the rest of the map as a result, and Caverna never able to fully get their feet under them afterward.
Well, Caverna did make that difficult. We'll see if they can make this an even better offense, but we'll discuss maybe the defense of Revoltz, what they're opting with. They really love this double sniper, but this time they're opting for Edgigus on this Junkrat. So what do you think of that?
I mean, Junkrat is so good on this first point. Like, look at all the angles where he can, like, sort of spam through and just get a lot of, damage output. It's really, really easy to sort of build that Riptire, and we know when you've got all these vertical cover, all these walls, all these routes you can take, it becomes less likely to be able to go through. Like, you're less likely to be shot down. We've seen it earlier, those triple kill Riptires in that BGH versus looking for Oryx series, each team having one. So I think Revolt's here trying to build off of that, trying to build off an advantage, build themselves a win here, take up 2-0 in our series before halftime starts. Caverna, on the other hand, they want to finish with time left. Maka spies out the trap, cuts his mind, takes it out. They will begin their attack run here. Caverna running a Pharah Hanzo comp.
And Edgigus already has 50% ult. He just spammed the crap out of that front door and got so much ult charge. Tiago even gets a piece here as the Zenyatta, so Caverna already have to reset, and they haven't even gone to the main choke.
Trix walking that trap and just taking about 400 HP worth of damage is so unfortunate. 600 HP to consider the barrier as well. Trix not happy with how that fight went on, and Edgigas the actual recipient of all that ult charge. So as you mentioned, walking into this next fight. They will have Riptire very shortly. Edgegas already up to 70%, 80% nearly. Slade trying to find some spam out on the tanks. Lemon, this fight keeps going on pretty slowly, but for Revoltz's favor.
Slay is in a good position. He's breaking the shield of Toxin. This will allow Caverna to move in after that. And as long as Slay keeps Edgegas at bay with the Junkrat, Vera direct counter to that Junkrat, Caverna are looking good. But see, they kind of just disengaged without really any reason. They need to play way more aggressive if they want to finish this in a decent time bank.
Yeah, for sure. They're trying to they're just going to go in right away with the Valkyrie here. So Caverna trying to walk right back in with this.
Riptire coming in from behind from Edgegas. What does it find? Who's the lucky winner? It's Maka, and Luke is taken out before the fight even starts.
And I mean, the lucky winner in that case would likely have to be Revoltz instead, as Henry will get one for his trouble, but it's not going to be enough. Tricks going for a couple of rides. Up with the concussive mine, down with the headshot. Tiago with the final blow, and now Revoltz have themselves a recipe for success. AGM with the Graviton Surge, Toxin with the Earth Shatter. And though Maka picks up one, TH7 going down, is this enough for Caverna to enter and win this fight?
What you hope is enough is this Graviton coming in. Maka now just so close to the Dragon Strike. Lucas already uses the Transcendence, and here's a Graviton, but is the follow-up there? Maka, we're focusing onto the backline, as not really any kills follow up from that Graviton, as a Dragon Strike comes right through the point. It separates Revoltz, and a responding Graviton from AGM comes in a little too late, but Edgegas says he'll finish the job. He's a 1 versus 6 army player. And Caverna have finished all the threats off from Revoltz and managed to cap the point with a minute 30 left. Very similar to how Revoltz did it.
Yeah, Caverna takes it, and it's super messy. Lucas switching off the Zen to the Soldier, I guess, to get back quickly. You already won the fight. Strange choice there. Switches back to the Zen. Caverna, nothing to work with here beyond the Earth Shatter and Valkyrie. Revoltz trying to walk back in with even less. Now this last fight is going to be all mechanics, essentially. We're trying to find Caverna trying to find the entryway initially for themselves.
And Henry's looking for that shatter, but Edgegas is just picking off people coming behind or past the shield. Henry, though, misses that shatter. It's what they needed so well, but somehow gets a fire strike onto Himura, the main healer of Revoltz. So now they might decide to back off after this one. They've only gotten really the pick on the Slade. That's going to get resurrected, so Caverna in a very good position to keep pushing this payload.
They take down with that fire strike, as you mentioned, so the support goes down. They don't have the healing there, and they're able to walk back in and win that fight. Some well-placed fire strikes from Henry, taking out a lot of damage. Those things do a bit. 100 HP, 125 damage, I believe, is the number going to be. Slade just spamming down with that Pharah. They want to get this next fight in, but Tricks coming up on that Graviton. This could be their win condition right here.
Oh, one more little tickle, and he's about to get it, but what do they have to combine with it? Absolutely nothing. Really have to push Henry forward here to follow up on that damage. Launches the Graviton. 3 members trapped into it. Tiago goes down, and a responding barrage from TH7 is making this so difficult for Caverna to win this decisively. They allowed at least the resurrect from Slade to go through, and Maka popping off allows Caverna to get point B.
Maka has been an absolute hero when they needed him to be. He comes in with the clutch play, stays alive through that Riptire. Bit of a hasty attack there as it's not really going to find much, and that will be a reset as Edgegas switches over to the Hanzo here for third point. TH7 as well on the Widowmaker. Revoltz, they have both tank ultimates coming online as Henry coming close with his Earthshatter as well as a couple of switches as well. Slay off the Pharah onto the Widowmaker. And now Caverna, they're trying to finish that long push into third. They're trying to find a little bit more time bank advantage here with the Dragon Strike committed right away.
And the Graviton comes in from AGM, but the responding Transcendence from Lucas keeps them up on top of a Valkyrie here from Simba. A lot of investment here for Caverna. This means they need to win this fight if they want to have value from the huge amount of ultimates they just used. But Revoltz are pressuring the shield so hard, it's making it so difficult for Caverna to advance. Once the shield is down for Caverna, this allowed the snipers from Revoltz to take charge.
Oh, the fadeaway shot with the Sonic Arrow. That's a blind shot, but it takes a kill anyway. Now, unfortunately for Tricks, you're caught out. Trying to push him actually here, but the teams are in that spawn. A high energy Zarya. You don't really want to mess with that. And Maka on the flank finds the kill as they go into this next fight already up one.
AGM just used Graviton. He's already at 70%. And Trick's a little bit behind, but at least he's about to get his for the next upcoming fight. 96%. They're pushing the payload. They're gonna get halfway there. But they have a very similar time bank to Revoltz. They might actually be at a disadvantage at this point. And both Earth Shatters about to come online. This is going to be utter chaos coming in. Both Gravitons, both Earth Shatters. You've got Transcendences. Who was going to stay alive the longest? Caverna is about to eat a very hungry dragon. Takes out 2, but Caverna deciding to quickly disengage. Don't want to waste too much time.
They do lose Toxin, but it's resurrected right back. This is last fight. They have that cart almost to the end, and though Caverna uses 2 ultimates, or sorry, Revoltz uses 2 ultimates, Caverna, with that Transcendence, they try and bring it back. It doesn't work. They reset here, and now they have an opportunity. They have the Dragon Strike. They have the Graviton Surge. The cleanup is available to them. Revoltz now working with just the Earth Shatter. They have not much else beyond the Transcendence as well. The lob comes in. The Dragon Strike 2. Will this be enough?
Alley-oop, and very, very hungry dragon, but doesn't look like it gets a ton of kills. It looks like the Transcendence from Tiago was able to keep everyone alive. Now it's just responding again. A Dragon Strike from Edgicus zones them off, but these dragons, a little bit vegan. They're not eating a ton of heroes on this map. A minute remains for Caverna to finish this map, or else they will be down 0-2 to Revoltz, and that's a situation you do not want to be in, as Caverna still contesting the payload. There's a Hanzo engagement into the back. This is going to be important for Edgicus to get out of there. Eats the final shot from Maka, and Henry leads the way as a quick change from Slate to the Genji. A Dragon Strike towards the left side doesn't actually zone off the doorway, but at least it pushes the supports to the left side who come to the payload to stall. Caverna have 30 seconds remaining to finish this one, as the emergency Doomfist from Edgicus was not enough, but it still gives Caverna another chance to fight.
And hey, you know what they say, if you've got time, you've got fight left in you. You've got life. And Caverna, it's not much, but it is still there. They have an opportunity. A minute to 2:16 is the time back differential, and this could be Caverna's opportunity to bring it back. A last fight effort that they do finish in time. Caverna, whew, it's been a ride for them. They have to bring it back here.
Oh man, I mean, they're making this difficult. I said that. I don't think they're gonna take the series, but they're gonna make it as hard as possible for Revoltz to make this clean. And the fact they finished that map was a bit of an accomplishment on its own. They didn't have a ton of time going into point C. The fights looked really slow. The Dragon Strikes weren't really doing as much of an impact as you would have liked. And Edgicus kind of going to the Doomfist. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this match, but Revoltz, I'm sure, are having a ton of fun because they're going to playoffs either way.
Revoltz, yeah, I mean, they've shown that they're definitely a playoff team, and the caliber of which they play has been pretty high relative to what we kind of saw from them in the first 2 weeks, so they definitely have turned it around. I think we're going to start making just, the regular version numbers be a thing for Edgy. He's been a bit of a light here for Revoltz. 60 seconds remaining. Thank you, Athena. King's Row returns to play, and it's going to be Caverna running Goats comp. In that 3 tank, 3 support composition, one we all, I wouldn't say know and love, but definitely know and see.
It's very strong winning those ground wars, stunning the enemy Reinhardt, which Revolt's not running a Brigitte. Deciding when to speed boost is really got to depend on Simba to be very vocal of a player when they're going in. High charge Maka. They start to pressure the point. Revoltz deciding to disengage. Toxin gets a very lucky fire strike onto Slay. Already 2 down. And TH7 already has a Dragon Strike, and he's gotten 3.
That's going to be last fight territory now. Can they even touch point? Slay goes down first. Maka unable to really build the energy up. Lucas has the ultimate from Moira, that coalescence, but the Riptire committed, and this likely is disastrous for Revoltz. The Riptire gonna find Henry. They do get to the point in time to trigger overtime. Edgicus does go down. This fight could still go back in Caverna's favor.
This looks like a Kamehameha from Lucas, more focusing on kills than healing the team. It's now a 4 versus 2. As you can see, Caverna have started to build that objective time, trying to zone off AGM. Slay is going after them as the Brigitte, but Revoltz are coming back here with a Graviton. Are they going to want to engage? AGM is right there. He's the only one there. Surprise! TH7 with the Dragon Strike gets the triple kill that Revoltz needed to stop this. Get us out of overtime. And round 3 will end right here.
Oh boy, how many times can we shout out Graviton Dragon Strike combination team wipe round end? And we'll see the replay come through right here. That is exactly what it was. It's going to be Revoltz stopping them with just about 65%. Caverna now have to hold with that much remaining. 2 minutes 16. It's not exactly out of the realm of possibility. Caverna buy themselves a breath here. That's all they've got there. Will they prevent themselves from drowning, or will King's Row go to Revoltz? It's gonna be the situation here. Great showing there. AGM, I mean TH7, how many Dragon Strikes can a man build in less time than you can blink? And the answer, at least so far, is 2.
I think as the British people say, it takes a set to pull off a play like they just did. 4, it's like 5 or 6 versus 2. Only AGM and TH7 are alive. TH7 is not even probably near the point, and he launches that Dragon Strike. They coordinate that perfectly. AGM was the only one there, and he managed to take back that point. I'm very surprised they didn't decide to give up the point and use that combination at the archway and maybe try and win that more in a safe way.
I mean, safe does not win you games. So Revoltz going for broke, and they actually win the lottery. Going to be Caverna now, setting up on the defense. It's going to be Revoltz with TH7 on the Hanzo. He's been really good on it so far. It's going to be now an attack run. Revoltz set up on the low ground. Into the point they go.
Lucio boost right onto the point, as you've said, and a modified goats with Hanzo. Really relying on TH7 to pump this damage in. He's more focused on taking down Slay. Missing shots, though, means Revoltz is missing out on a lot of damage. You can see TH7 takes his attention back towards the point, but a high charge AGM kind of acts like as a DPS player on his own. TH7 with the double kill, make it the triple kill. This guy is amazing. This is why Revoltz have him on the starting roster. They get the percentage they need to take this map and now lead the series 2-0.
2-0 indeed. Revoltz taking over Caverna, and man, this is going to be a play of the game from TH7, and well-deserved, honestly. And yes, it is going to be the Graviton combo in overtime, but it does not matter. Going to be now Revoltz. They're up 2. Can they bring it back all the way, or will Caverna put that breath we've been asking for? Will they bring it back? All this and more, Lemon, but what more can we say?
I mean, it's not over yet. It's 2-0, but Caverna have a real chance to respond in the following maps. But let's go over to our desk with Boop, Ham, and Hurix to analyze the first 2 maps.
Thank you, Lemon and LaFon, and thank you for that great cast. We're talking about Caverna versus Revoltz Esports, and this is a matchup that 3 weeks ago we wouldn't have felt like would have anything to do with, but right now Revoltz is looking for that 3 seed. They win, they grab it. Caverna looking to get back on the board, that pride. We definitely have some things to talk about. It's not breaking down each map specifically. We're just going to talk about in general these 2 teams and why they're here right now. And so the thing that I want to talk about Caverna is just Maka. He's been very consistent, Urix.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been very, very solid. I think he's definitely a standout player to watch. And when we talked before about a player to watch, a reason why I brought Slay up as, someone that could be pivotal is because Maka, honestly, is typically so consistent. Yeah, he didn't have, one of his greatest performances last week, but, I think today he's really bounced back in a big way. He's been very, very solid. He's definitely been a lot flashier than what we saw in his, I guess, less stellar performance that he had prior to this. But honestly, I've been really impressed with them. He's been really solid outside of the one time that he was trying to play on Control Center, where he just had a series of probably the most unfortunate events you could possibly ever ask for in any situation, where you come out with the McCree expecting TH7's Pharah, gets shut out with angles, then you come out with a Diva, gets shut down by a 100 energy Zarya. I mean, that feels bad, man. But other than that, he's been excellent. He's been stellar.
And so we're going to go over to Revoltz. And again, in general, something that we wanted to talk about was a support play. And Ham, you had a lot to talk about in terms of what Tiaga's bringing to the table versus what Lucas is bringing to the table.
Yeah, so earlier on, I did mention that one of the weaker points that Caverna could definitely work on, regardless of, what happens in this series, is, protecting and enabling their support play a little bit more. Because with supports, there's kind of like 3 ways to play it. You have the Jonax of the world, who who are such a threat that the enemy team need to spend as much resources to go and try and dive you like a sniper. Then there's, kind of like the more quiet support play, but you don't need to pop off because the rest of your team is doing so well. You just stay alive. Then there's the kind of Lucas Simba way of playing things, at least, that we saw in some of their earlier series where out of position, the not utilizing the shielding or, protection that your tank line is affording you. And so, but we did see that change. Like, yeah, all right, Lucas and, Simba weren't necessarily popping off. You weren't finding them getting those finishing kills in the kill feed, but they were still staying alive. And that is something you desperately need. That's what's going to sustain you through that mid fight.
So what did you think of his 76 play? So at one point on Lijiang Tower, he was on an 11 kill streak.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something that he should flex on more? Or are they actually flexing on it a little too much?
I would say that it's definitely a boon anytime you can have your support player. I mean, we think about Harry Hook back to like the good old envious days pre-Dallas Fuel. And, Harry Hook was one of those support players who has incredible aim, and you can just swap him around for those different spots. And that's always something very strong. I mean, we actually see 76 coming more and more into the meta. It's not just, London Spitfire running that. I believe Revoltz actually ran Brigida 76 on City Center Oasis to great success as well.
The first time we saw Revoltz, it was 276s on Oasis.
276s. Hilarious. Yeah, triple DPS with 76. Who would have thought the day, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can utilize Soldier 76. Unfortunately, Caverna themselves weren't really able to kind of like coalesce around that pick and really use him, even though he himself was individually playing really well. That kind of ties into also Maka's performance that Hurix was mentioning, really popping off. But unfortunately, one good player does not a team make.
Well, there are a couple good players on Revoltz, right? And so Hurix, my question to you is, how has having TH7 and Edgigus actually defined the identity of this team? Because they definitely had a hard time figuring out what that identity is. I think we can all see it. The record sees it. The fact that they're in the playoffs says it, that they are a better team now, but is it strictly placed on their skill, or is it something else that they're bringing to the table?
Well, I think it's just what it brought to the team. We talked about it before, and I think bringing that one up once again is certainly pertinent. Talking about how Edgigus being that backup, someone that the team, and certainly especially TH7, can rely on in a lot of situations where they can kind of let him go do his thing, especially when he gets onto that Hanzo. That's really given them a lot of extra potential for their team as a whole, because when you have that reliance, when you have that trust in a player like that, it allows you to do some other things. It allows you to have some more confidence in what you're trying to do with combos, with allowing certain strats to go through. And Edgigus has really kind of helped them out in that regard. You even see, Lucas, a guy that can go over to Soldier, and oftentimes we see Soldier come in for like stalling strats and everything like that, especially from flex supports, and to have someone that can actually make that work and have a lot of those fights be won. You see guys like Maka having insane games. Slay is a pretty solid performer at times as well, has some really hot streaks. Trix is a really solid off tank, and to see a team like this bounce back against Caverna, who has, yes, they've been, faltering a little bit here and there, but it's still a pretty solid team. You cannot count them out in any way at all. To see them playing like this against them, I think is a huge, you definitely have to place that onto Edgigus a lot because of what he's been able to do in terms of the confidence and the trust that they have in their DPS duo now.
Yeah, that's certainly a good point. I mean, Edgigus is kind of like that little, you're like, oh, my puzzle piece is almost done. I only need like that middle piece. And then you step back and you see the whole picture. He is somebody who enables the team to be greater than the sum of their parts. I would say all of this individual skill was already present, obviously, in Revoltz. TH7, we know he's a really strong player. Tiago has been enabled a lot to frag out as Zen because of the space that Edgigus makes. Gonna throw in a really quick example. We were watching TH7's Pharah POV all during Lijiang Tower, and he was not letting the other Pharah have the time of day. Just constantly on his butt, on his booty, like separating him from his Mercy. He even got 2 directs onto Simba to kill that Mercy. Just, and normally when we see that kind of like hyper-focused attention, Pharah v Pharah, you could be losing the ground war, right? Because you're you yourself are creating that 5v6 by taking yourself out of the body of the team fight to go and try and focus down the enemy fire. But Edgigus was still there. It's not just one DPS. Revoltz have two, and he was more than capable to hold down the fort there while TH7 went on kind of, a mad Pharah dogfight in the air.
Yeah, the reason why I bring that up again is, one, it's important too. We have the gameplay to actually speak of for this game specifically. And I think at this point, we can all say that this is not a fluke. Getting them into this team has changed the identity of Revoltz Esports for the better. And now that we're moving into the second part of the series, something I do want to point out is Caverna in their first game faced Nocturnes are looking for tanks. They were down 2-0, and then they won the next 2 games, and they went all 3 rounds on control. Is this a possibility of something we're going to see today here, X, quickly?
I absolutely. I think we're going to be seeing, this go to a game 5. I think we're going to go to the distance on this one. I think Caverna is much better than what everybody expects from them. I don't think their record shows where they're at today. I think they're much better at the end of the season here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Of game 5 is always possible. Reverse sweep. I mean, Revolt's not the only one who can do a Yui. Caverna, we saw just the potential that Maka and Slay had, and the crossover that they have with those DPS heroes. Hyperflex, really individually skilled. We just need to see it link up together.
All right, so I hope, it sounds like you guys both are saying a game 5, and I hope Lemon and LaFon are going to be ready for it, because in order to get there, Caverna is going to need to show some stuff off, and I know they're ready to show off some amazing casting coming up. So Lemon and LaFon, why don't you guys take us away and finish this out?
Ready to show some great Overwatch coming up. Revoltz 2.0 versus Caverna, map 3. You heard it from the analyst desk. They have a lot of faith in Caverna, but the last 2 times I've seen them play Temple of Anubis, they dropped that to Breakdown. They dropped out to looking for Org. So, yes, they've won another assault map. I think it was in a game 5. They've won, Volskaya against looking for tanks, but that's not the same map. So they don't have the greatest record on Temple of Anubis, but I think this might be close just because Caverna, I think they have the heart into it. They want to make this a good series.
I mean, this is their last opportunity to do so, right? If you don't win here, you finish with that 0 on the board, and I mean, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. So, Caverna, they're looking for an opportunity and a way to sunny Anubis, that Egyptian map. As warm as it is warm here where I'm casting from, so we're right back into the mood for what we have on tap. Anubis, an assault map. And this is a case where I feel like Revoltz versus Caverna, one thing that we haven't really had an opportunity to see is a true Widow versus Widow situation. Revoltz, TH7 has played the Widowmaker, has done really well on it. Caverna, it has been Maka who's been doing that most. So it's going to be a question of which Widowmaker's coming out on top, and is Caverna actually going to be able to turn that into their favor. Revoltz now defending first. Caverna switches over to the heroes they're actually going to play. Looks to be an interesting, this is a very interesting composition here from Caverna.
Goats, like a final swap in coming in, and Caverna will be going in with the 303. Revoltz have a DPS of TH7 on the Widowmaker and Edgigus on the Genji. So Edgigus is not going to have a fun time against the Brigitte and overall against tanks. He doesn't have a lot of targets to go for, mainly trying to focus down the support. Same thing for TH7. There's not a ton of squishy targets for him to go after. As you can see, Revoltz are now trying to dive them from behind, but also Dive Tank's not having too much fun against Henry on the Reinhardt, although he is the first to drop, and because Caverna are not running a Mercy, that's not going to be resurrected.
That's not going to be resurrected indeed, and though Caverna is starting to build some percentage on the point, it's not going to be enough as Tiago completely uncontested on the high ground. It's going to be a cleanup here. Edgigas has managed to find a way to completely ignore the Brigitte and just come up with a good 4K, builds his Dragon Blade, and has his ultimate well before anyone else in terms of the DPS slot. So some switches coming up for Caverna. Is going to be now a dive composition. The Goats comp didn't work, so on to dive we go.
See how this one works out. Maka on the trace will be able to point pressure a lot more. Not sure if he'll be able to reach TH7, who loves to stay onto this high ground a little more. But Slay now will be going up against TH7. He'll try and take his attention away from the rest of the team, and Edgigus looking for a juicy blade, standing out into the open. Wonder where he will find it. He even has a Valkyrie from Hermura to help with the power boosting. You see, that's already going to be started. Edgigus comes in with the blade, going after the tanks. This guy is so confident, but his streak will end here to Lucas.
I mean, does it matter? The Resurrect is there in time, and I'll take a 5K for one any day of the week. Caverna, they lose that fight out, but they do pull the Valkyrie and the Dragon Blade away from Revoltz. They don't have a lot to work with. Again, they did just switch. Trick's the only one coming with a ultimate online, as Revoltz now trying to stagger their way through their abilities. They have their Transcendence, they have both tank ultimates, and they will commit the Infrasight right away.
Well, sneaky tickle coming in from Toxin, but he will be able to jump out of that one, but opens him up to a self-destruct. Thankfully, the bubble was there to keep everybody out, except TH7, which now forces out the Transcendence to keep this stacked up. Maka, though, hits a nice pulse bomb onto AGM. So this has put them into a number advantage. Caverna start to pressure the point. You can see Revoltz had just used a Primal Rage from Toxin, but it only gets after Simba. You cut off the resources, but the rest of the body of the Lion is still well alive on the point.
And that's you situate, that's a dive comp in its entirety. You situate yourself in a way that it cuts off the team from each other. Revoltz off the back of a good self-destruct from Caverna. TH7 goes down, and that costs them the point. They're able to come right back in. TH7 on the Sombra now, looking for the one clip perhaps on Lucas, and he doesn't find it. The Matrix is there in time. Oh, what a massive play.
Great reaction time to put that Matrix in, and we have not seen Sombra in so long. Now EMP, she could be perma invisible. It's gonna be a lot of scouting going on for TH7. Wants to hit those one clips. Maka, though, will be dismantling the tanks meanwhile for Caverna, but they've already lost their main tank. They've lost Slay. Edgicus comes in with a triple kill. Dragon Blade to finish off this fight for Caverna.
Team kill 2 as the Athena not quite there in time. Was the first kill was just a little too far from the last, but Caverna, they win the fight. They lose the fight handily nonetheless. It's gonna be TH7 just sort of sitting around, trying to find himself a kill, or perhaps a hack, or perhaps some ult charge. Doesn't get any of it. We'll have to recall right away. Now the reset happening.
Caverna, though, they have Primal, they have a lot of sustain, especially with Lucas's Transcendence. The issue is finding an opportunity or a moment of entry. As you can see Revoltz now send their self-destruct right towards the back. Who doesn't find Lucas? Unlucky. Won't have that Transcendence, so it forces Simba to use this Valkyrie to keep the front line sustained. And now an EMP. EMP will shut everything down. Actually, literally, TH7 will now focusing on pressuring the tanks. You got tanks out, Simba is out, and Caverna will reset here.
Caverna, though, they do get a full tick out of that. So even though that was Revoltz's fight to lose, they give up a point on they give up a third of the control point, and okay, it's gonna get a DMAC from Slay, and it looks like he's gonna survive with it too. So Slay doing a really decent job on that Genji, actually. As Caverna now come back in, they do have 4 ultimates with which to work. So Lucas has the Transcendent, Slay, or Simba rather, switching off the Mercy to the Lucio. A lot to work with here in this next fight.
Oh, but Hamura's already out for the defense, so Tiago might want to use the Transcendence now that the other Transcendence is out to keep his team in the upper hand. Want to use it before AGM gets demeched. Perfect moment, and also a perfect moment for another Edgicus Blade going after the opposing Genji. He better finish this guy off. Okay, 10-player streak, but that value Blade just went down a lot, only getting 1 kill with it, but it was at least enough to stop everything from Caverna, especially when Revoltz had lost their main support at the beginning.
Also, what season is it? What year is it? We're getting Lucio Zen defense and offense? No mercy to be found? I am questioning this in its entirety. TH7, Dylan the Sombra has found a lot of value with it, actually, with that hack. Himura switching off the Lucio back to the Mercy, so the Resurrect is back in play for Revoltz. As Caverna trying to set up an attack now with 2 minutes remaining. They still have that Dragon Blade to work with. They haven't used it yet. Slay unable to get in position early on.
There it is, but 10% off the EMP. Is it going to come in time? Maka hits a 2K at least onto the D-Bus. EMP finally comes in from TH7. Caverna have gotten a few picks. They only have 7% more to go to finish this map. Revoltz need to throw everything into this. A Primal Rage from Henry's going to toss up the other team. Hamura is trying to keep AGM topped up with the self-destruct to keep this stalled out even more. You cannot step off the point whatsoever, but AGM has created a ton of space. Revoltz are looking to come back into this one more time as Edgicus brings out a life-saving Blade, taking out at least 1. Caverna, do they have enough members to sustain this fight? Slay with a 3K will anchor this in stone. 1:20 left on the clock for Caverna.
if I've been on the internet often enough, I believe it's yes, slay, get him, because that was just absolutely great. 3K, yeah, no, you know what? I'm gonna mix them up together. Don't worry, it's fine, it's fine. It's fine, it works. Don't question me.
Slay queen is all I'm gonna say. Although
no,
he's a boy.
He wasn't on Pharah though. That's why I didn't want to say queen. See?
But it's the thing like white females say. So you
I know where it's from. I'm just saying, like, I was hoping it was on Pharah. It would work out. Anyway, totally aside.
I got you.
Caverna finished the map. A minute 19 left, and they managed to make it look exciting. I think is perhaps the most generous way I can post it. Caverna, they struggle in that fight. Revoltz, they managed to pull their way in and out of the fights, and they just can't really clean up that last one. They're unable to really contest. The ultimates aren't clean. The engagements aren't really what we kind of expect to see from Revoltz, who are, again, they're a playoff team here. So these are the kind of plays we're kind of hoping from them, and it just hasn't really been showing. So Revoltz has to be questioning how they're going into that last fight and try and come back on the attack run and do a better job.
And we were a bit surprised from the Lucio play from Caverna, but this actually allowed them to just be so much more aggressive, chasing Revoltz around the defense. And TH7 on the Sombra, and it was quite entertaining. And a lot of these EMPs were fight stalling. And Slay onto the Genji was actually pretty competent to go up against Aegis on the opposing role, which we will see again in this round. So Revoltz on the attack have to at least finish the map. Let's see if they can do it in a better time bank.
I mean, that's what they're playing for here as Caverna. They do finish the map. We do have a minute 19 left, so it is going to be Caverna playing the defensive dive with the Widowmaker, as everyone has come to expect. It is not exactly unheard of. Revoltz doing it the same way, but TH7 on the Tracer. No Widow versus Widow look here. And Revoltz looking to see what there's available to them. Initially, not much.
The whole vanilla dive coming in. I wonder if Caverna are going to want to bring a Brigitte out against this. Maybe if Maka can't find any success, or maybe Slay, I think, plays a lot of Brigitte for the team. Revoltz now already deciding to dive towards the right side. They lose the mech of AGM. Not the luckiest of pushes you can see, and you can see Caverna now giving tons of space, just holding this main doorway now that they've got them stuck inside of the building. And Revoltz have already gotten their mech back, so this will be their moment to engage again.
They get the mech back, they get the initiation, and the health pools of the tanks are so very low toxin going down, so there's no McCree available as Tiago picks up one, a brilliant headshot. Maka comes in, a flick right there on him, we're flying across the screen, and the Resurrect will be there, so a reset now from Revoltz as TH7. Nowhere.
Point B,
back
right?
to spawn.
Right, guys?
Back to spawn.
We got point A, right? We're going to point B. Oh, crap. Sorry, my bad. That's the type of stuff I get in my ranked games. But this will be another stop here for Revoltz.
Yeah, Tiago goes down at the very end of that fight, so no Zen will have to wait the long spawn back as Caverna find themselves up with the Dragon Blade. No Transcendence available just yet, so if Revoltz go now, Caverna has an opportunity to turn it right back in their favor as the Infrasight will be committed now. Caverna setting up for a push here from Revoltz, and that's going to be a headshot blow right away. No more play.
Caverna are sitting right on top of them. They're actually going to dive from behind. You can see just all the doom and the blood and the guts going into this room that they actually don't animate in this game. But Blade versus Blade, Slay's going to use his first and gets the final cleanup. But at least this will allow Revoltz to use theirs in the coming fight. They just have to worry about Lucas having Transcendence.
Caverna uses a lot in that fight. They use Infrasight, which, okay, scouting. They use Self-Destruct, get no value out of that, and use the Dragon Blade when they're up 2 already. So strange usage there from Caverna, but they managed to turn it around in their favor. This next fight, though, will be a make or break for them. It's Maka playing that high ground yet again. The Widowmaker is so very valuable. If she can get that headshot, it'll be massive. Again, the engagement happens. TH7 forced a recall early on.
Oh, Aegis looking for the blade, goes towards the top, but Lucas just used the Transcendence. This is the worst timing you can go. You can't even reach the Valkyrie Mercy, and now you got a Primal Rage in your face. That's what I call the most unlucky blade you can get. Tiago denying, actually does not deny the Resurrect, still gets the kill, and Caverna now on the defense, don't have a ton of healing going into this one. Now TH7 looking for the finish, hits the Pulse Bomb. The tanks are getting dismantled here for Caverna. They are so low. Revoltz now using a self-destruct, gets denied from getting back into the mech. TH7 dancing around this point, making it his dance floor, and Revoltz, in less than a minute remaining, get the point.
They're going to get the last stall out. Slay finally going down. TH7 waking up, and though Edgegas had the BDE blade, not really finding any value from it. It is going to be sort of flailing around in the air, and so it ended up being not that. They do clean it up. TH7 coming back in with the heroics, and Tiago assisting with that play. So defensive setup now. 4 minutes 38 left. Tiago now trying to build towards that Transcendence as Slay has that Dragon Blade, and Maka onto the hit scan yet again. Revoltz have literally nothing to work with in this next fight.
Maka, this is so good for him because now he's going to have the stun to deal with TH7, who somehow actually zips and zaps right out of that. Slay, though, now making sushi of the enemy team with the Dragon Blade, and Caverna will at least stall this defense for now.
The AGM not quite enabling the passive quite yet. Does manage to take it away. No stagger this time for this pilot. Yeah, Revoltz now, there was a dry push. They pull ultimates out of Caverna. They don't really use any of their own. They didn't have any to begin with, so that will be now the next fight coming in. Caverna, though, all they used was the Dragon Blade and was very effective. Coming back in next, Trick so close to that self-destruct. And trying to find themselves an opening here with which to reset this fight.
Edgegas, though, he's going to be looking for the blade, and the Valkyrie from Homura is about to keep him topped up and power boosted. He does zone out some supports here towards the left side. Transcendence was triggered from Lucas. This is Edgegas' chance, but they already have 2 members down. Is he still going to go for it? It doesn't look like Edgegas will do it because now he's back into the spawn room, but very surprising that Revoltz did not pull the trigger there.
I mean, they did lose both their tanks early on. That's the final blow on TH7 to end that fight, but they did lose both tanks. The res was canceled out. Revoltz unable to really work with anything, and though they did force the Transcendence out, Caverna able to turn it right back in the favor off the back of the Primal Rage, and a valuable Transcendence there. So usually when we see Transcendences, when Dragon Blade's on the board, it actually ends up being a trade in the negative, but this time Caverna makes it work. So they do eke off another minute from the time bank. And this next fight ongoing right away.
Oh, Edgegas, both blades actually come out. Tiago uses the Transcendence, should counter Slay, but cuts through all the healing and takes care of the opposing Genji as the picks in favor of Caverna. Revoltz want to make this a winnable fight, but no longer is now that you're missing the ton of healing that Homura and Tiago can provide. The bloodthirsty Winston of Henry will get back towards the point, and Caverna have now brought this defense to 2.5 minutes for Revoltz.
How to counter a Dragon Blade when you have no support ultimates 101? Just pull out your own better Dragon Blade, obviously. Come in, get 3 kills? Sure. You got 3 kills, Edgegas? Doesn't matter. I'll do 4. I'll one-up you every time. Edgegas, yeah, it's a brilliant Dragon Blade, but Slay's right back there to help him and assist with the final blow. So Caverna, they're building time again and again, and now Edgegas switching off. They're switching off all their heroes. Revolt's going to be playing that tanky composition. They're running the Lucio Moira, the triple support, triple take. No Diva, going Hog instead. A lot of health on the board now for Revoltz.
But they got no ultimates going into this one. We'll see how strong the fight is with just vanilla mechanics as a Deadeye from Maka. No idea where he is. He's coming from below, and here he is. He gets stunned out of it, though. No value provided. While Revolt's just going to tank this one out. A nice hook. Doesn't finish off the sneaky Lucio, and there it is. Revolt's, though, have their tanks getting a few picks, but it's actually the DPS from Caverna that have stabilized and created ultimates of their own.
I want to just say that Lucas has absolute, just sheer gall of not transcending there. Still has it for this next fight as they come right back in. A minute remaining on the clock here. Now they have to stall it out. Simba goes down yet again, Lemon. And the fight is so much further going on.
And we got a Bastion on the field. We got Slay with the blade. Caverna are feeling so good right now. They could possibly take a map from Revoltz right here. You get the spray on top of your forehead. Paint does not come off with water. And Caverna will end this one right here. 40 seconds remain for Revoltz, but this will be the fight to finish them all off. Graviton, Rally, Whole Hog, Revoltz are coming in with tools.
Who you call when there's a fire on the board? The fire truck siren going in. Bastion, I hear ya. Maka, I see ya. Last fight going, 20 seconds remaining, and they still have the ability to use Primal Rage. It's going to be used. Graviton available. Last fight, AGM needs to find some value here. They need to get this right here, right now. 10 seconds remaining, Lemon. They need to win this fight out right away.
Don't go into the room with the Primal Rage. What is that hook? That was 6 miles long. TH7 now brings the Whole Hog to zone everybody off of the point. 3 seconds left. Is anyone there for Caverna to touch? It looks like somehow there was, and Maka not feeling the Bastion, the tank getting pressure too much from these tanks, as only a trickle can come in from Caverna. They had a serious shot at shutting out Revoltz right here, but in overtime, Revoltz bring the goats, and pretty great offense, to say the least.
They do capture, but they capture with overtime remaining, and that means that Caverna has an opportunity for 1/3, a minute 19. Final attempt, they have to win here. They don't win, it's a draw, and they end up losing every single map. So Caverna has every single series. Caverna, their opportunity now, a minute 19 for a single third. It's doable, but they have to be better than the first attack run they had here on Temple of Anubis.
Bastion, though, like, I just can't believe it. Like, Bastion would only be good if Goats wasn't so quick. It's the whole point of running a Lucio with Goats. You don't have a lot of time to react and pump damage into their shields before they come and crush you. So Maka zoned off the shield for a little bit until he got crushed as it happened. And Revoltz, we were questioning the Goats a little bit, but we know why it's so popular, and that offense proved why.
I mean, this match, this set of matches today has been a reason why you should watch South American Contenders.
Yep.
Absolutely the case. This has been beautiful games from top to bottom. We start off with BGH versus Looking for Org, the undisputed kings of South America, and Looking for Org makes an opportunity. They try and bring it back, and they do a great job. In the second breakdown, the feel-good story of the season, and here Revoltz versus Caverna, just great Overwatch all around. A third here now for Caverna to take, and they're gonna open with our tried and true herbivores. Omnivores? Goats are actually kind of omnivorous. They're terrible, terrible creatures. Onwards and away they go, though, to this fight. 1/3 remaining, all they need.
And Henry's shield is set up. They get into the little room here to protect their supports from any damage coming in from Revoltz, but now the shield is pretty broken. They're zoned in here. There's only a minute left. Caverna cannot afford any mistakes here. They only need 33% to take a map from Revoltz and make this not a loss for them. Henry just misses the pin. Toxic uses the primal. He's tossing everyone up, but will he be able to stay alive?
The Dragon Strike was absolutely eaten there, and this brawl of a fight here, Transcendence is available for Tiago. They need to find the kills. The Transcendence is out, but not before the DMAC comes in. Toxin able to be kept alive for the moment. The shoulder charge not available to really take it out. The Earth Shadow's there and captures all the sound barrier to keep them remaining up, and that will likely be it here as the remaining fight goes on. AGM DMAC at the last self-destruct, finally available for Triggs. The Graviton Surge is here, and that will be it. The final blows coming through. AGM taken out. The Diva going down. A last-ditch effort on the Dragon Blade, nothing doing. The self-destruct to clean it up. Himuru goes down. Caverna, the emotes, you've earned it. Take it. Overtime away, and that will be Caverna taking the map back. Revoltz have a contestant.
As Diva would like to say, GG! And Caverna keep this series alive and take Anubis. We had so little faith in them, at least on Assault on this particular map, but Caverna have proved this wrong. They had such a good defense to put them in this position to only need 33%. A minute is so unforgiving, and with the Goats, I mean, they goated their way up there, if that's a way, if I could say that.
I mean, what more can you say? Caverna with the last ditch heroics. It's absolutely do or die. This is your last chance to turn it around, and every chance now. They have still an opportunity, another map to go before they tie it up. So they could go to a map 5, but wow, that is just as close as it gets.
They keep this one alive, and I mean, if you're Revoltz, you're shook. if females can say that, you're really shook. That should have been so won for you. You took point A so easily. You go into point B with tons of time, and you have to deal with Goats, and maybe they're just having a hard time against Goats in particular, and that's why Caverna keep bringing it out, and they keep doing well with it.
Yeah, and I mean, that last fight, it's predicated on the fact that the Dragon Strike is there, right? It's so close, so juicy, there's nothing to really nullify it. And then the clutch matrix in time, the Dragon Strike is unavailable. It's last fight situation, and Lemon, as chaotic as it can get in Overwatch, that was probably peak chaos. Just all the ultimates going off, Sound Barrier, Earth Shatter, Self-Destruct, Graviton Surge. I think there was a rally in there too. Just so much going on, and they managed to turn it around, win the fight out. And Caverna they've given themselves another opportunity to take that 0 away and give themselves a 1.
It's just Goats, why it's so good is because of the triple support, the sustain and the resources that you're putting in. You sacrifice a lot of damage, but at least you make up in the long fight advantage. And that's how Caverna came into the point and were able to win. Although that can turn on you, because if you spend so much time trying to win a fight and then eventually lose it, that's where Goats can kind of bite you in the butt.
Yeah, Goats, one thing it struggles with is its early fight advantages when tanks use all their cooldowns. We already know this, and tanks in general are very, very dependent on how they use their resources. Their bubbles for Zarya, for example, the charge, the fire strike, you know, all these things that Reinhardt does. And then, of course, the hog with take a breather or the hook. And then we all know how good D.Va is in general. But once those cooldowns are gone and your healers are out of healing abilities, Moira, she has a resource. Once those are out, you start to fall prey to the lack of abilities to do things. You know, DPS heroes, the one thing they do is they have consistent output of damage. We think hit scan like McCree or Soldier, or you know, the burst in the combo that Genji has, and so on and so on. They are able to turn that fight in their favor and build their ultimates quickly, which is what you need to do in that tank composition, and they do so. So, Caverna, we see them on the board. We see them on Assault, something we kind of wondered would they be able to do in a Widow-centric map. And now, speaking of Widow, headed to Route 66. So cross the Atlantic all the way back to the States. We are headed to the outdoors. It is going to be our escort map. And Old Flavor is back in town. Route 66 should be an exciting one.
I'm so excited to see if Caverna, are they really alive right now? Is this for real? Is this just luck? Or is this them really turning up and finding a composition that they're comfortable with? And Goats could be just as viable, pushing the payload or not. But, I mean, your Revoltz, you're kind of shook, and you do not want to lose this series. That will make you 4th seed. That will make you most likely go up against Isurus, who are the 2nd place team in South America, or the 2nd place winners from Contenders last season. That's a juggernaut team you do not want to mess with in quarterfinals. So Revoltz, this win matters so much for them, and they don't want to mess around.
They don't want to mess around, but we haven't really seen Revoltz on this map too much. I don't believe that they have a particularly good showing on Route 66. I could be wrong. That is kind of what comes to mind. They have an opportunity here, but Caverna, they're gonna run that. I would be.
Are they? No.
Please tell me they are.
Maybe just to get the initial shield?
No, they're not playing that. Okay, good. Because
yeah, so just the initial shield, maybe.
Keep in mind, Contenders is played on the patch where Symmetra is pre-teleport chain, has her shield, and she doesn't have the instant teleporter. Is something to note. They are going to get Edgigas the first kill. Maka going down has been the king of bad manners here today. Has backed it up with the kills too, so it's not like he's been invisible. Done a great showing. Verno slowly posturing her lemon, trying to get that first fight going.
Double sniper versus double sniper. Not a lot of options for position for Caverna, but the defense have a ton of angles that they can take. A lot of advantages for Revoltz, and TH7 proving me right. Taking out Slang will get resurrected from Simba, most likely, as Caverna looking for a moment, an opportunity to dive, while Toxin has now dropped down, going after the backline. So Caverna not having the greatest first push that they would have led.
No, not the greatest first push at all, but it's still, they managed to pull out of position off the high ground, so there is some opportunity. They're getting TH7 and Edgy has to rotate a bit. Slay is going to switch off. They don't like that double sniper look into what Revoltz is running. TH7 commits the infrasight, see where everyone is. Edgy Gas just spamming away on the high ground. Trying to find that final blow. Being a little bit aggressive, he doesn't really find anything yet. This fight has yet to begin, but both teams posturing very aggressively.
Yeah, Henry got really low there, even Tricks on the D.Va. Just a high charge AGM is the last person a D.Va wants to deal with. And now Slay onto this Genji, seeing if he can pressure these snipers a little more. Caverna have taken the high ground, but they walk right into a Dragon Strike combination from Edgigas. Gets the 4K. Can he finish off the Mercy for Tricks? And he does. So Caverna will rethink this one over again.
They will rethink it, but they do pull out the Dragon Strike. They do pull out the Graviton Surge. They do pull out the Transcendence from Tiago. Revoltz has to use everything in their bank. The only thing left online for them is the Earthshatter. It's Maka switching to the Widowmaker off the Hanzo. Caverna now has an opportunity to walk in and try and find some value for themselves. Right nearly to that Primal Rage. Caverna looking for an opportunity here.
Oh, self-destruct sent into the bag. It's got to find someone. Still doesn't. Toxin, though, kind of turned to look around, see if his teammate's okay. Gets hopped on by Henry. So 2 tanks out for Revoltz. Caverna. This is their chance to finally push this payload, have a decisive team fight win. Henry with the Primal Rage chasing down the supports, and that will be the fight win. And Caverna will have probably one last fight before they actually get point A.
Edgegas does take down the Mercy Simba. X at the last. Will be now last contest as Revoltz trying to walk back in with the Earth Shatter.
He's looking for it. Breaks a bubble. It's coming down, and they're playing so far forward. Do they even know? And do you really want to mess with a blade? He actually seems right past the Reinhardt. And come on, get him. He's right there. He's right there. Get him. Oh my God. Okay, he's throwing at this point. Okay, the Transcendence keeps him up for the moment. Finishes off the kills that he shouldn't gone 5 minutes ago. And Slay now really starting to style as Caverna in the last 45 seconds managed to get point A.
Listen, in close, a Widow's hitbox is super tiny for Genji specifically. Everyone knows that you miss your shurikens when you're that close to a Widow. It is simple science. At least that's the excuse I'm giving both Slay as well as Lubak from earlier. Was it Lubak? Regardless.
Oh yeah, no, it was Agus because I said him and Boop roasted me.
Regardless, Revoltz set up on the defensive on second round off the Reinhardt, but staying on the Zarya. Interesting choice. Revoltz now will commit to that defensive. The Valkyrie committed as well.
Well, Maka has the info sight, and now he'll be able to maybe get some better picks here. Now that he knows exactly where Revoltz are sitting from, but now Transcendence from Revoltz keeps them topped up, loses the mech from Trix. Caverna might be able to respond with Slay's Blade about to come up, and now that there's no Transcendence, will be the perfect opportunity. But Toxin jumps right out of that one. Most likely gonna go down here. Trix losing the mech again. Slay won't be able to use his Blade if he doesn't have a frontline that's alive.
Maka, though, doing Maka things, picks off 2. Trying to find that third one. Lucas is right there to help him out, and though Trix loses the mech, or almost lost the mech, it doesn't matter because Maka's there to save the day. The Widowmaker on high is just popping damage down. It's gonna be that Widow's kiss indeed. That is not a kiss you'd like to be on the receiving end of, that's for sure. As again, another final blow. And TH7 in close. Tracer versus Widow, who's gonna win this one?
Maka, nope, just kidding. TH7. I didn't get to see the health pools before that happened, but Maka, I mean, it's been a pivotal part of this. This is a very questionable last Graviton here from AGM. So kind of threw that one away. Wonder if AGM is going to be switching to something else. Most likely going, yeah, probably would go Diva now that Toxin is on the Winston. But Caverna now have a Blade going into this one, and Maka as the Widow is going to be so good for this point C take.
I'm questioning AGM's usage of Graviton here. If you're going to stay on Zarya, why not just save it for last? But if you're going to try and build Graviton up, why not? I don't know. I find that a little bit confusing here. Revoltz, they go into this last fight with no impact ultimate in that tank role. They have the Primal Rage. They're coming up on the Dragon Blade, but Transcendence to engage with. Caverna trying to find their opportunity here.
Caverna really focusing on taking the Transcendence out from Tiago. This will allow Slay to have a lot more value coming in. They're being so patient. Self-destruct right at the back. Is this going to be the one? Yes, it brings out the Transcendence from Tiago. And Slay really slaying his heart out on the Blade, only getting a few kills. And Trix using the self-destruct. Quite an investment here for Caverna.
Yeah, they do not only to get the kills, though, they actually get the Transcendence out as well. So that's a very valuable fight for them. And they go into last with the advantage now as opposed to the disadvantage they had before.
Well, TH7 has the Sombra, and he's going to want to hack. Henry is about to have the Primal Rage, preventing that stall from coming in. Decides to go after Trix. That's a guaranteed DMAC that the defense gets. And building up towards the EMP could be the decisive team fight win that Revoltz need with only a minute and a half remain.
They do get the team fight win, though, as Maka unable to really get any sort of foothold other than the DMAC. He will be taken out, most likely. Trix going down, and that will be a team kill. As Caverna now holds for the moment, but a minute 20 remaining. And Revoltz, all they have to work with is Edgegas building that Blade as quick as possible. Caverna getting off the Widowmaker onto Tracer now. And this could be last fight territory for them, as AGM is still out of mech actually, and just now getting back into it.
Well, Maka wants to be on this Tracer to protect his tanks more, especially when there's a Sombra on the other side. Really, it's going to be babysitting TH7, main job, and also wants to enable Henry. He's going to have the Primal. He needs to be unhacked, keep away from the Sombra, self-destruct right into the back, and forces Tiago to use the the Transcendence to keep himself up, and you're gonna need that, especially when Homura, one of the main healers of Revoltz, is gone. Self-destruct now sent just to get the mech back, but denied from Slay. Caverna still have a Dragon Blade available. They just have to focus this down onto the Reinhardt as Edgigus uses his own blade. Who is the better ninja? EMP, well, doesn't respect the 1v1. TH7 Toxin with the triple kill. Revoltz are solidifying onto the payload, and in the last 20 seconds, Caverna have really exhausted their resources.
Lucas was 3% away from the Dragon Blade, or from the Transcendence for the Dragon Blade. Gets the kill, but has to put himself in an awkward position. They will now have 6 seconds remaining. Will they even be able to touch the guard? The Earth Shatter blocked, and they will get there to trigger overtime as the shoulder charge is there. Slay going down.
Oh my god, and Transcendence from Lucas. Okay, the front line is looking good, but they lost Slay, they lost Lucas. Simba's the only healer. Henry is out. Maka's the only real tank as Trick sends the self-destruct towards the top, not finding the kills that could have turned this fight here for Caverna. They have to stay onto the payload. It's overtime territory. The emergency Doom Fist from Edgigus doing work into the backline, and overtime will stop here. Caverna failed to finish Route 66.
They finished to fail Route 66, but they do get nearly there. And sometimes, depending on how your defense goes, nearly there is as good as a victory. So, Caverna, they put themselves in an opportunity to win. Now comes the defensive hold if they can do so. A map 5 we go. If they don't, well, Revoltz will put a nail in Caverna's coffin and end it for them, making sure they go down 0-5. Contenders 2 here in South America. It is going to be now Revoltz's opportunity here
to finish the map. You set the winning condition. All they have to do is get all the way at the end of point C. And Caverna, all they got to do is stop it. We've seen on King's Row the power of the Caverna defense. They can burn so much time off of the clock. The question is, what defense are they going to run? Solo heal, 3-2-1 it looks like.
I mean, this is not exactly... I mean, solo heal itself isn't uncommon. Caverna has run it, I think. No, I don't actually think Caverna has run it. That's it. So I'm mistaken. This is, I think, one of the first times we've seen them kind of run this composition. It does keep the... It's up to Lucas basically to soak a lot of damage up and self-heal a lot. Basically take a lot of the pressure off of Simba. So he can really just protect, you know, Henry and Trix. And then the 2 snipers as well. So it is going to be an opportunity here for Caverna. Try and bring this back. Revoltz. Now, this if this is what they're going to run with, it's going to be definitely an interesting look for sure.
Oh, triple DPS. I mean, that's going to be a big job to protect Simba, their only healer. That's their only source of healing. And while at least Lucas has, like, take a breather and stuff like that, but this is not a long fight composition. They need to win these fights clean and early. And if there's snipers like AGM, Simba has to stay hidden out of line of sight.
We have no idea how comfortable AGM is on the Widowmaker. He has played the off-tank position here so far, and Slay, yeah, that's going to take you out right out of the sky. A little bit of an easy shot there for the Widowmaker. The Resurrect is going to be up. Oh, that's a risky res.
Did it anyway. You brought AGM back, but you lost most of your healing. So Revoltz, well, I mean, just keep this one going. The spawn is very close, and Mura will be able to fly back pretty quickly. But Revoltz will actually reset completely, and AGM will just try and find an angle, and winning that initial Whittle duel will be pretty big for them.
Yeah, it's going to try and find the card. It has moved forward a little bit as Lucas getting caught out. The hook is there. The kill is not. Lucas managed to survive for the moment. Gets out of line of sight. And never mind. AGM is right there to find the headshot.
Ding-a-ling, you're just hearing everything from AGM, and now the card has finally been able to move. It's been quite a while since we've seen any objective earned, and Edgigus just really dashing away from the holds from Henry. As Revoltz has taken the low ground, and Caverna haven't really budged from the high ground. Unfortunately, Trix not able to build back the mech, so that's one pick going in. And now a blade from the sky from Edgigus, seeing if it can find some value. Staying away from Maka. Does he survive? He finishes off that kill. And with the healing gone from Caverna, there's only a whole hog standing in Revoltz's way.
I think Lucas is switching off to the Zenyatta here on second point. There's no way he stays on hog after that ill-timed whole hog. It is actually going to be Caverna switching wholesale over. Edgigas, the hero of that point, gets the triple headshot on the Diva, or double headshot to the dash. such a sweet sound as a Genji. The left click's getting that many headshots, and the blade with a clean reset. Excellent play there from Edgegas. Has been a hero on this Genji, and they capture point A off of it.
Well, Caverna on the defense running a Lucio. That means they're ready to engage first. They want to bring that aggression around, but looks like Caverna are playing very separate. It's Henry playing so aggressive as a Winston, has already gotten 2 or 3 picks to his name, and Revoltz will reset.
Revoltz will reset, but not before Slay gets a final parting blow. That will be now. Revoltz has to rethink their strategy, as they have to walk through a choke with the cart really early on. And working with the Primal Rage, they have some stuff to work with here.
Well, Henry's playing so far forward, and he's getting a ton of resources. Maka sets up at an angle with the Dragon Strike right onto the payload. Is there anywhere for these guys to run? Finds Edgegus. Unlucky Primal Rage from Toxin to try and build some space around the payload. But you've already lost a few members here. Maybe Revoltz can turn this fight around now that they have room to breathe.
Slowly starting to pull it back in Revoltz's favor as they get a couple of kills. Edgegas aggressive as heck and finds the kill anyway. And though he does go down, it's not really going to be in his advantage. Revoltz still turning it though, as it is just a contest from a Lucio on the cart. And Tiago turns around and says, "No, thank you. That's not where you're supposed to be."
They had a broken wheel on that payload. They were really wondering why wasn't this moving. We're all on top of it. This is what you're supposed to do, right? But very nice stall there from Simba at the end. And Caverna now will have the sound barrier coming up. And Revoltz, one last fight for point B. Edgegus about to have the blade.
Play with that, Slay switching over to the Brigitte. They're going to try and come back to this fight and get that sustain going. First kill goes to the defense.
Sound barrier dropped, and Lucas wants to keep that Transcendence for Edgegus' blade, but look how far Revoltz have been pushed back. So much aggression for Caverna, and they haven't even used the Primal Rage.
They're going to just reset in its entirety here. Again, they don't use any ultimates, neither side. AGM a long... Oh, that's interesting. I wish we could look over that cliff a little bit more. It doesn't look like there's anything in that bottomless pit.
Well, besides a long fall down.
That would be pretty terrifying, look into dark mist like that. Jumping off. Regardless, there's going to be both teams playing very passively early on, trying to find the opportunity to engage. Dragon Blade available, but so is the Transcendence.
He's looking for it. Dragon Strike also from Maka. Wonder when he's going to use it. He's sort of in the middle of the map, doesn't have a solid lane he wants to use it in. And finally using it to just zone off the payload and actually gets Edgegus. Such an aggressive Genji player. Now won't have that blade to use. Hamura not in a position to resurrect. Oh, actually did resurrect that somehow in an enemy lines. Edgegus now back into the fight, looking for the blade. Toxin possibly having the Primal Rage to assist as the blade comes out, but also the opposing Primal Rage from Henry to make it so hard for him to get even more kills. But it's still a clean fight win for Revoltz.
Why did Lucas transcend there? Their team is already down. They're going to get the reset kills through as the shields block all the healing. And Edgegas dashing through. It's not winter time, but it doesn't matter as he gets the final blows. And Revoltz, they give up point B with some ill-advised ultimate use. Or they gain point B with Caverna giving up some ill-advised ultimate usage. Now it is going to be rally on the defensive side and nothing else. Switching over to the Reinhardt Zarya comp. Gonna play a little bit more aggro, I think, here, will Caverna.
Well, AGM has a self-destruct in at the very back. Such a nice lane to tear apart the backline with it, but with the rally from Caverna, they're bringing the fight to them. Finally, AGM sends a self-destruct, doesn't catch anybody. The two undefended players of Simba and Maka, Revoltz keep the fight going. AGM brings the fight to them. And Caverna now have to disengage, just trying to build as much ultimates as possible. They've at least taken out Hamura, but Revoltz, I mean, they're going to get her back pretty quick.
Again, though, they do get the, remember, the mailbox of victory is very firmly in Caverna's base, and they will, with those kills, they will get time on the cart before any last-minute contest is available. The Revoltz, though they do get the cart moving, have some room to still go through. They do have a lot of ultimates, however.
Yes, taking out Slay. It's not the stick he wanted, but it's the kill he needed. And the Dragon Blade from Edgegus trying to clean up the tanks, but he gets pinned to another dimension. The Transcendence from Lucas didn't help either. Revoltz trying to keep this fight going. They have some support still alive, but it's Caverna firmly in position. Tiago playing as the frontline Zenyatta, not the best deal, but down to the last minute and a half. Revoltz Don't have a lot of options.
They use a lot of ultimates in that last fight and get no value from it. Edgegas switching to Doomfist. Yeah, gonna stay on the Doomfist. Actually gonna play this off the Genji. So they didn't find value in the Dragon Blade and wants to find a little bit more value in the Rocket Punch, perhaps. So they're gonna walk into some damage from Maka. The Dragon Strike available there. Graviton is there too. And that's the combo you need to just end a fight.
Edgegas is like, nah, I'm still here to fight, guys. Come on, fight me. 1v6 though. And Edgegas, I mean, a Doomfist is just a more muscular Brigitte. It's able to stun and mess up the tanks as much as a Brigitte can, just minus the healing.
I mean, self-shield is as good as healing, right? If I don't die, it doesn't matter what happened. I don't think that's how it works, but it's gonna continue. Revoltz now trying to win this last fight out. We are 30 seconds remaining on the map, and Caverna have the advantage. They have the Earth Shatter.
Oh, who does it find? It actually gets blocked here from Toxin, and both shields are really low. Edgegas trying to find someone into the backline. He's towards the right side, but he's already lost 2 teammates, mainly his main tank. But Edgegas just doing Edgegas things, getting picks with very little value.
He tried his hardest, but at the end it won't matter. As with 7 seconds remaining, the final blows come through. Himura touching Cart, but it will be completely irrelevant at the end as they're going to get the final blows here. The Dragon Strike towards Cart. You gotta go through it to touch. And the charge is there.
Caverna's defense are about to hold this one and send us into a game 5 against Revoltz, who are up 2-0. The possible reverse sweep for Caverna in motion. I can't believe this. We had so little faith in an 0-4 team, but they're proving us they're about to be 1-4.
I mean, we talked about Caverna and how they've struggled, right? Edgegas with the play of the game here. It has been a Hanzo show, but we have talked about how they've tried their hardest and have shown moments of life. And here is the payoff after all, Lemon. Map 5 we go.
Map 5 back onto the control map. Last time we saw this, it was Revoltz taking it. Who will walk away with the series? Caverna proving they're up for a fight. We're going to go for a quick commercial break so we can get this lobby set up. But when we be back, Game 5, Revoltz versus Caverna.
Give me a second chance, baby, hear me out. I'll call you up for friends when I'm touching down. Tell you what I saw when I get the time. The writing on the wall, if we read between the lines, I'm in the fast lane. In my rearview mirror, I see your whole life. I've been in the fast lane. Now I'm blinded by the glow of the lights. Baby, now I'm
Welcome back, Contenders South America, Game 5, Revoltz versus Caverna. Caverna haven't gotten a win all season. This could be the day, LaFon.
Could be the day, and it's going to be a map 5 that is going to be the selection, so it is going to be Ilios, a control map. Now for that first round, oh boy, we did start off with control, and so it will end with control. Revoltz versus Caverna, 2-0 Ilios. Well, how will it go? Now, a little bit of hog Orisa action, a little bit of full fork, if you will. So, both teams, see what they've got.
I mean, difference is Maka's on the Soldier and you got Edgigus still on the Hanzo. And actually double sniper from Revoltz, so Slay, I'm not sure how much fun he's gonna have on this fair when you got double hit scan to deal with. Toxin, though, has already dealt with Maka. And that's not a tank that usually gets the frag out, but the Resurrect is there. We can see Edgigus already pressuring the shields. Revolt's in a very comfortable position on this temple side of the map. But this might take a while to capture if both Orisas are very comfortable. Toxin, not very comfortable for long, as Caverna look to engage off of this.
Look, they will look to engage off this. Toxin gets resurrected right back as Revoltz. His TH7 gets taken out by Trick. So it's going to be now a try and control point. As the Dragon Strike from behind, Trix is looking to find value, and that will in fact be Edgigas turning it right back in their favor. Slay picking up one, but not enough. Verna will lose first control here.
Yeah, the Resurrects made that first fight a little long, but Revoltz will at least solidify for now. So it looks like Slay might be swapping off here, although the barrage. So Death Ball, at least triple tank coming out.
Infrasight gonna be committed by TH7 as Verna is trying to switch.
Oh, he doesn't switch. Okay.
Oh,
now
yeah.
he should.
Infrasight into a headshot of a body shot of a Widowmaker. Or a Fire, sorry. Yeah, that's not gonna be a good look.
Oh, finally switches to the Brigida. Still not the best look. You got double sniper. You can only really deal with the tanks and with a Roadhog and a D.Va. That's really your main targets as the Brigida player. And now in the driver's seat, Revoltz have TH7 on the perch, looking up Edgigus, inspecting the rooms, and finally finding some shots into the supports, into the back. But Caverna now taking a very quick speed boost towards them, and he almost, oh my god, almost pins him into the hole. But Caverna actually are in the losing situation. It's TH7 finding the picks as the Widowmaker.
And this is going to be a situation where it's going to be the last couple of ones left alive. They're unable to get the DMAC. Oh, AGM actually gets DMAC in last. They're going to use the self-destruct just to get right back in. AGM will. And Revolt's now up to 70%. Caverna not really working with a whole lot. They've got the Transcendence, nothing else. They have no real time left on the point. 78% and counting. Caverna have to take the map back now.
Caverna need to act now, and they're very close to a Graviton. This could be their winning condition, but the snipers from Revoltz are set up at a crossfire. Now Edgigus is from behind, has a Dragon Strike, uses it right here. This will zone off the front entryway, forces out the Transcendence here from Lucas. The hold almost takes everybody off of the map as the Graviton finally launched from Maka. Just traps some members, but it's the follow-up there. It's actually the reverse that's happening. Revoltz are cleaning house and take this first map of the Game 5 100-0.
100-0. That's not close. Caverna unable to even really recontest as TH7 was able to just free fire with that Widowmaker. Edgigas as well. And Revoltz have put themselves up now one stage away from putting themselves in a third seed in playoffs. Caverna looking ever closer to that 0-5 situation. Not somewhere you want to be, but Caverna.
Don't jinx it.
Oh, it's so close.
I mean, Caverna, this would be the most awful way to end your season. You know, Game 5, they haven't been to a Game 5 since Week 1, I believe. So, and they lost that one. So hopefully they turn this Game 5 streak into a winning one. But already a good start for Revoltz on Ilios. We're here on Lighthouse, and the Pharaoh comes out from TH7, and the Goats comes out from Caverna. So this, Revoltz are in the better comp draft at the start of this game.
Caverna, they're going to be running into that fire, that projectile long-range play. Edgigas as well, so there's going to be a lot of pressure here from the DPS from Revoltz onto Caverna. They're going to try and play point here. The fire is able to really spam around that shield, so Maka already so desperately low lemon to try and keep this fight going.
But he just gave a ton of free charge to Maka, and now that they've decided to leave the point, they're going towards the tanks of Revoltz. They do finish off Toxin, but they lost the mech of Tricks. They lost two of their healers. Caverna had a right idea of playing Goats, but why did they leave the point?
I mean, if you're getting spammed out that much, and then your main healer goes down, your only opportunity is to run at them. And Caverna did, and Revoltz just said okay, and spammed them away with TH7 as they already got the barrage. And that's what a lot of heavy HP wealth pools will do to you. Maka switching off, now switches to the Widowmaker as Trix comes back to the Zarya. So compositional switch up here now from Caverna. They're gonna mirror out. Revoltz has started built-in advantage, and a great first blow here. Maka opens it up.
Oh, when he gets another dink onto AGM, finishing it off with the second kill. Opens it up for a barrage, though, from TH7, who trades with an equal 2 kills. But Caverna still have at least 1 tank and 1 healer alive. They could keep this one going. They're actually going for a flip. Revoltz, are they there to respond? Tiago wants to kick Trix right in the face, and Toxin wants to send him into the ocean. Finishes it off with the hammer, but the retake comes in for Caverna.
Toxin jumping off the map there. It's going to be a reset now as they do get point control. 35% on the point, so not a whole lot. Maka has shown up again in that kill feed. That Widowmaker being so valuable as TH7 switching to a McCree. So interesting choice here. No Widow versus Widow here for Revoltz. They want the hit scan McCree against Slay. They're going to try and find some value here. The Earth Shadow nullified right away.
Oh, Maka's doing so good as the Widowmaker, and now they're evening up the score. Maka looking for some more kills. I mean, this guy gotta keep his shield up if he wants to protect his team from Maka as the Graviton comes in. Toxin's coming in like a storm, but there actually was no follow-up to that Graviton just used from Revoltz.
Yeah, Revoltz Trix goes down so low, play a little bit aggressively, manages to get away in time, trying to build up that Graviton surge, and Henry picks up another final blow. Oh, TH7 with the flank is there for the double headshot.
Oh.
Maka, hello?
Hello, I mean, hello indeed. Caverna still in charge of the point. They just won another fight. They're in a very good position. They're in a commanding lead to possibly send us into a map 3 of this game 5.
Maka picking up another final blow, 67%, so it's a reverse almost of that first stage. Almost like Caverna got their feet back under them. They had been struggling all time, and Slay picks up another final blow. It's going to try and be resurrected back, but they lose timeout. AGM, the meanwhile, taking all that damage.
Oh, Dragon Strike right through in the hallway. Oh, it goes right through in the infrasight, aiding with that, but now a Deadeye from TH7. It's already a lost fight. He gets killed during it. And Caverna reached the 90%. Revoltz need to touch in about 5 seconds, and no one's even alive to do so.
No one is alive to do so whatsoever. We are going to a map 3. There is no question about it. Tied up here on Ilios. Caverna, a dominant second point. I guess it's. I guess well is just not their situation, because now, for all the marbles, it is Ruins, Ilios, 2-2, Caverna, Revoltz.
Oh no.
Oh man.
I'm stressed. This is the most bipolar control map I've ever seen. You got Well, who goes 100-0 to Revoltz. You're like, okay, Caverna is rolling over and dying. And now you go to Lighthouse, where Caverna takes it 100-35. Okay, now Revoltz is rolling over and dying. Where are we going here on Ruins?
99 to 100. Easy prediction. Easy prediction here on Ruins. If
Getting
it's going
my beta
that
blockers.
Revoltz, Caverna Esports, Widowmaker, TH7, Slay, let's get it. Gonna be an attack round. Arisa on both sides. Interesting look here from both teams. So running that anti-dive composition. Double snipers for both. Mirror comps all the way. Kind of. Yeah, mirror comps actually.
Yeah, well, more of a stationary type of defense. And they'll have to set up their shield, so we'll give a huge advantage to the D.Vas sending their self-destructs once that cooldown is out. TH7 looking for the pick on the Slay, gets it, could possibly finish off either Maka or the Mercy player. Maka wins that one, but look at the kill feed. It's all for Caverna, and they're going to get the first cap here.
Yeah, and again, the tanks do a much better job of providing aggression there. Caverna walking up, takes out take out Toxin. And that gives Caverna the opportunity to walk back in. Yeah, sure. TH7 get a final blow, but it doesn't matter if you don't have the follow-up from your tank line. And Caverna Esports, they ignore Slay's death and just win the fight in front. And TH7 unable to really turn it around.
A little worried about Toxin staying on the Orisa, especially when you have to attack towards the point. Not a lot of situations where you can reorient your shield as much as a Reinhardt can. Maka with the Dragon Strike available is more worried about TH7 and when he could shut him down. But the Dragon Strike goes right through the front line of Revoltz, at least picking up one, the main tank. But look at Tiago popping off at a different angle as the Roadhog. Revoltz now can respond. They've gotten the picks.
They've gotten the picks and they're going to commit the ultimates, but it's actually Caverna coming out somewhat on top. Lucas staying alive for a long period of time. The whole hog doing a lot of work as Maka staying up through the healing of Simba. Not enough though, because at the end with a 50% mark, they're going to flip it over and it will be Caverna dropping the point for now as Revolt's starting to build their ult percentage here on Ruins.
But if it wasn't for the double kill from Tiago on that Roadhog, that really started things off for Revoltz, and now the Infrasight is available here for Slay. We go into another fight, and ooh, TH7 not gonna win that one. The added visibility for Slay makes it so much easier to hit these shots, and now the Dragon Strike only seals off one doorway, somehow still finds 3 kills, and you've got the main healer of Caverna. So that's a 1 fight already for Revoltz.
I mean, it's a mirror of the first fight, but in the opposite direction, it's gonna be TH7 dropping first, and then Revoltz just wins the fight right back off. So it's a great job there as they use that Dragon Strike, which, by the way, Edgegas is already up to 55% already after just using it. Unbelievable stuff there as Revoltz now setting up for a defensive look. Maka gets the Dragon Strike out.
I thought that was going to get eaten from AGM. He was looking right at it. Now finds an equal double kill. But unfortunately, Caverna have lost Simba. That's a lot of healing. God, they have to rely on, well, nobody. That was their only healer. Lucas can take a breather, but Caverna need to keep engaging this one. They're giving up free percentage in a losing fight. And Revoltz are doing so well. And actually, the second person on fire is a Mercy player. How many times are you going to see that?
Slay, a great headshot there, and yeah, the Mercies have done a great job. So he's going to be resurrected right back up. And Maka switching off the Hanzo. They're going to go to the Widowmaker Tracer combo. So, I guess we're going to be playing odd sniper duels here.
Well, Edgegas, I mean, has to deal with only Slay, who just used the Infrasight there, and at least the Tracers will help with a lot of point pressure, but they have to be wary of these Roadhogs that can hook them and just insta-combo them. Pulse Bomb hitting the tanks, I mean, it's only going to take off a chunk of their health. And meanwhile, you got a Dragon Strike right onto the point here from Edgegas, who gets so low, still takes out one of the tanks. Lucas has the whole hog, gonna use it right now to try and zone off the point. Edgegas doesn't have a shield, but he's got the headshots to finish this one off, and Slay back into the fight, trying to equalize this one for Caverna. 99% in overtime in favor of Revoltz. The self-destruct takes out the healing for Caverna. That's all the resources gone, all the stalling, only a self-destruct, and Maka as the Tracer can keep this one going. Revoltz now have emergency Doomfist coming up. Caverna are here for the retake. Somehow Revoltz didn't win that.
Somehow, I have a reason as to why. Maka has probably like 30, 35 HP, and they still manages to get 2 kills, gets the DMAC, gets the Pulse Bomb to put a lot of pressure on Toxin, and that gives them the opportunity to retake. So we are headed to that last fight situation. Remember when I said 9999? Man, is that ever possible here. The Pulse Bomb thrown out.
Alley-oop.
Maka goes down right away.
Great counter to a Tracer is a very muscular man named Doomfist. Already 2 picks for Revoltz. They've gotten the retake here. Caverna want to prevent this. Now in overtime, Caverna cannot afford to lose anyone else. Everybody is dropping to the sheer power of Revoltz, who almost have been reverse sweeped, but they make their stand in the final map on Control. Both Control maps in their favor, and Revoltz will solidify the 3rd seed in the group.
And Caverna, they end it with the zero wins in Contenders. Unfortunate. We're going to see TH7 with the final blows here. Oh, on top, uncontested. What do you do? What do you do, actually? Because there's a couple of
I don't actually, you tell me. I don't know. I don't know what to do against a really good Widowmaker. That's honestly a question. Bring out your own?
Yeah, I guess so. But that will be it for Caverna versus Revoltz, Lemon, and an exciting 5-map match.
You gotta give it up for Caverna for making this difficult. That's what we wanted as the analysts. We didn't have a lot of faith they were gonna take the series, but they brought it to a game 5. Last map, 99 almost to 99. Let's send it over to the desk. I bet they have a lot to say. Boop, Ham and Hurix, take it away.
Wow, I don't know if we can say as much as you can, because that was a hype game. We were screaming our voices off. Some good stuff happening from both teams. You don't see the reverse sweep happen many times in Caverna. This is what's extra heartbreaking about this, is they did this in week 1. This is how they started their South American Contenders, losing a possible reverse sweep, and this is how they're going to end it, unfortunately. But honestly, I think they're ending it on a high note. Some really good stuff from Maka Hurix.
just the first step in the next journey. I'll just throw it out there.
Look at that.
Let's
Look
see.
at that. But yeah, Maka, Yurix.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You see Maka just constantly stepping things up. I mean, when we talked before, just bringing it up yet again about going into this match, things to look at, players to look at. I mentioned Slay had to be, really stepping things up. And it was because Maka has really kind of set the tone for this team. And it was up to Slay to make sure that he kind of met that tone. He had to make sure that he kept up with Maka. I don't think that he really kind of met that goal. Maka, unfortunately for him, was forced to raise the bar. He did that in a big way, and I think Maka really kind of showed out to be able to make this a lot more competitive.
What's your take on it? What's your take on it, Ham? Like, Caverna, many times throughout the series, just couldn't find the win, right? Not just the series, but the series previously, and the one before that, and the one before that, all the way going to week 1. And we talk about all the time in South America, their records don't necessarily represent their skill. Do you think that's the case here with Caverna?
Yeah, 100%. Caverna's like the America's Funniest Home Videos. You see the guy like in the the bicycling race, and he throws his hands up at the very end, and the bike's like, oh! And then he falls face first right in front of the finish line. And that was Caverna's so incredibly close. I was sending all the energy and everything, and unfortunately, they weren't really able to pull together as a team in the very last seconds. In the end, you have an amazing Widowmaker, amazing player in Maka. Slay also had some really pop-off moments on Anubis, I believe. But you, in the end, found good, disciplined, foundational play will win the game every day over a clutch play from one of your DPS. And unfortunately, it's like relying on ultimates. Sometimes your DPS just not quite able to get that last little bit of damage down. And what do you have to rely on? Unfortunately, nobody, because they're all dead. And so that was just really good play from Revoltz to, outmaneuver their enemy, because Caverna was playing a good game. Whoever won this series, you could say it wasn't because the enemy team dropped the ball. You bested somebody today, and that was Revoltz.
So, and Revoltz bested a lot of people, but their scoreline on the standings is actually kind of hilarious. So they're 3-2, and they're in the 3rd seed, but they have a 8-12 map win-loss record. And so the reason why we see that is because the first 2 weeks of Revoltz, it's not even the same team. I don't even think you can compare that team, even though the name is the same here, right? It's like Revoltz now, in their last 3 games, their map differential is so much better. But don't be fooled by that 8-12 that you're going to see on the standings here, because I think Revoltz can be scary for some teams.
I think, honestly, you can say the same thing about Caverna, especially now. I think over the last 2 weeks, I think that's a team that also kind of stepped up in a big way. And I think the fact that this went to a game 5 after Revoltz has shown that they're on their U-turn, as you mentioned it before, is a great statement and a great showing as to exactly that Caverna is on its way back up. Revoltz has already made that pivot, and they're on their way up as well. Obviously, sitting 3rd in the group stage is a good spot to be at this point, especially after you went 0-8 in maps to start the whole group stage off to begin with. So overall, I think these are 2 really solid teams that have unfortunately just hit their stride at the end of the group stage. Luckily for Revoltz, it was a little bit earlier on, so they had time to save face for themselves into the playoffs.
Well, Ham, and the other thing about Revoltz that's really interesting to me, again, is it's, you start off 0-8, you get these new players in. Do you think they got a shot to take down a Black Dragons or an Isris?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, the Eduguess is just really good.
Solid.
Really good. TH7 is just really good.
Very good.
Very good. Yeah. And when you do have like DPS players, I mean, and not just in mechanical skill, by the way, but the depth of the hero pool, Eduguess coming in clutch and in multiple moments. This is something that we've seen from some of the other teams. Hephaestus springs to mind, where they bring out these niche heroes, not just for the stall, but it's like, hey, I never get to play this great hero any other time except when we're stalling. So bring out the Doomfist, Fistigus.
So Fistigus, that's his main.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Like, he made his name before he came to this team by being a Doomfist player.
Yeah, Fistigus, hopefully we'll be seeing more of that, because he came in clutch multiple times. And, when you need that great, like, high sustainability, high mobility, one-shot potential hero, he's your man. And he clutched it out on Ruins when it was, like, down to the 99-99 last map, 5th map, 3rd round.
that
and
last
made a
kill, right,
difference.
on
Right.
Lucio, right? That's exactly how that game went for him. Got the uppercut, got the headshot with the left hand cannon, and they ended up winning the round a little bit later, actually. But the other big thing that we're coming up on is playoffs. So we finally have Group A officially set. So this is what we're going to see. The number 1 seed is going to be Brazil Gaming House with a 19-1 map record. Looking for Org is going to enter playoffs as the 2nd seed with a 4-1 and a 14-7 record. Revoltz is going to come in with a 3-2 record and an 8-12 map win-loss record. I would love to see if that's ever happened, right? Like that disparity of win-loss on map that's still not even the 4 seed, they're the 3 seed. And then at Breakdown at Gaming, which ends this at 12-10 on their map record with a couple draws. Or actually, I think they're going to be 10-9. 10-9. So those are your top 4 seeds. Once again, it's number 1 BGH, number 2 looking for Org, number 3 Revoltz, number 4 Breakdown. So we all know that BGH and looking for Org might make it to the 2nd round, but Hurix, do you think Breakdown can take a Black Dragons and/or an Isurus?
I'm sorry. I know you guys love Breakdown. I know you guys are you're really into them, but I'm sorry. I just don't see it. Black Dragons and Isurus are the champions that we can crown them of Group B. They are looking very, very solid. I definitely think Isurus is a team that can contend with BGH as well. You look at Black Dragons and their ability to contest a lot of those teams that are in Group B, where there is a lot of competition in Group B. A lot of these teams are pretty close, I would have to say, much more than their score lines might suggest as well. And certainly I would personally say the top 3 right now, BGH, Isurus, and looking for Org at the moment going into the playoffs. But I'm sorry, I just don't see it for Breakdown. I just don't see it.
You might see it a little bit later, a little at the end of the month.
Maybe
and so,
I'll be wrong.
what about you, Ham? What about Breakdown? Do you think they match up well against Isurus or Black Dragons?
Honestly, I love this team too. We know, everybody knows Boop and I are big Breakdown fans, but
How can you not be? Anyway, go ahead.
So
Caster bias.
Anyways, unbiased casters. But regardless, I think, you can still be objective in their skill and kind of where they sit, especially given their last couple of matches. Getting crushed initially by BGH, everybody expected that. But when we did see them be tested, and not just in their mechanical play, but in their mental fortitude. How do you approach these fights? Are you approaching it like you can win it, or are you playing passive, scared, looking for the dives, then running out of time and being forced to feed yourself onto the point? And I still think that Breakdown is one of the strongest teams in the region, and give them a month, give them a couple of months, and I think that they could be contenders for like the big 4 slots. Absolutely. Everything foundational is there. You can teach somebody to click heads, but you can't teach somebody to play with your teammates.
Yeah.
And I think that's the advantage that they have and what has brought them to playoffs. However, when you do match them up against other teams who are equal in that experience, the trust in each other, that's when we start to see the nuances pull ahead. BGH, they've been together since TF2, so that's you're working against a lot right there. Breakdown can absolutely do it. They just need a little bit more time, a few more hours in the fridge, so that the jello fully sets. Right, you take it out, it holds its shape.
And they get that. They get a little time before playoffs because we actually have a second group to go through. And the coolest thing about Group B, the only team that I believe Isurus and Black Dragons have secured, but technically Black Dragons have not secured the 2nd seed yet. So everyone from 2 to 6 has a possibility of making playoffs. The only thing we know so far, actually not, because Isurus is also 3-1 with that map differential. There's nothing set in stone for Group B just yet. We can expect Isurus to make it to the top as their opponent is Hephaestus. But again, Hephaestus can be quite surprising as well. So we're going to go over the games of next week. I'll go over a little bit of the stakes, and we're going to go ahead and see what happens from there. So Isurus and Hephaestus will be our first game on the 5th of August. Pain and 2Kill, that is a huge game for both of them. Hephaestus gets into playoffs if they beat Isurus. Pain gets into playoffs if they beat 2Kill, and Black Dragons beats Predators. Black Dragons and Predators, there's a little, it's not as big for Pain Gaming, but if Predators loses and 2Kills loses, then Pain gets into the playoffs. So I know you probably need a visual for that, so we'll hopefully get one for you because Group B is absolutely nuts. And so give me your picks. Who are going to be your top 4 in Group B, Hurix?
It's a tough one. It really is a tough one. I'm gonna say Isurus and Black Dragons are gonna be my go-tos, and I'm gonna say somehow 2Kill gets in. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I don't know how it could be even possible, but I think it's gonna happen. And then who even knows for the fourth one? That group is so crazy. Who honestly even knows? It could literally be anyone. But Isurus, Black Dragons, I think are gonna be the staples. And then I'm calling 2Kill to go through.
Cool. Ooh, the 2Kill call. I got to go with my boys Hephaestus. I mean, ever since I'm going to be talking about this play, by the way, till the end of time. So Doomfist May on point B made it work. Blizzard into Meteor Strike. We got to come up with a new name for that because that is the, the tops,
The
man.
coup de grace.
Yeah, exactly. HM absolutely punched his way into my heart with that Doomfist play. And so, yeah, I got to give it to Hephaestus. They have that extra little bit of like strangeness, the weirdness. You don't really know what's going on. Hey, if we don't know what's going on, they surely won't know what's going on. And that's going to give them the edge. That's what I say.
So that is it for us and our kind of theory crafting for Group B. I do have to mention congratulations once again to the 4 teams that made playoffs, and we'll see you in at Trials looking for takes and at Caverna. 2 teams that I think a lot of people would be surprised actually did get relegated, but I think both of them showed signs of life today, and I think Trials could be a walk in the park for them, honestly. But now we're going to go into Group B. We'll see you guys on Sunday, but I do have one more thing to talk about, guys, and it's a little bit of a plug for Broadcast.gg. We are a community of esports people, right? It's for producers, it's the casters, it's all talent, it's everything behind the camera, and people who like writing articles. We actually have a psychologist in there, asking people for interviews. But the big thing about it is that it's a really great group of people, and one where I've made some of the best friends of my life. So please join us. Follow us on Twitter, which is twitter.com/broadcast.gg. I wouldn't assume that I was talking about you, but and then join our server, and please, you get the banter just like Cam gets from me all the time. But that is it for now for us. We'll see you guys all on Sunday. Thank you to Lemon and LaFawn for the great 5-game cast, and we'll see you next time.
I live 17 floors up, and when it rains I can feel those drops in my window pane. Lets me know that I'm still here. But when the sun comes out I will go outside. When it breaks through clouds I will give a smile. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away to find good times again, find all my old friends. Times I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times. I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and up, and when I cry I can see this city through my watered eyes. Lets me know that I'm still here. When my eyes clear up I will go outside. I'll imagine you're still by my side. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Run away to the nearest place where I'll find all my old friends. Times I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times. I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. said I wanna have good times, good times. Find my friends again and
I'm falling in love.